What did NS do? NS Contact is literally an agent of the CIA. Okay, that's what he did. NS Contact, for those of you who don't know, is Turkish. And unironically, like a bunch of my friends played with him when we were growing up. Like he was a Samanyolu kid, and he might have actually had his age changed as well, so we could actually dominate. But in any case, he came to America. He was fucking hot ass, right? And then because he was hot ass, he was like, "Oh yeah, we got to fucking free China or something." He just, I'll tell you what, NS Contact absolutely did not do: play defense. NS Contact can't travel to Canada because the U.S. says they can't protect him there, so he can't play in Canada. I dislike NS Contact purely for basketball reasons. I mean, that's fine. Whichever kind of way you do NS Contact slander, I'm on board with. Okay, because like, listen. There are a lot of Turks who do not like what I have to say about the Armenian genocide or about like Kurdish militia movements and stuff like that. But they still low-key have a little bit of pride in their heart for a Turkish boy making it big in the United States of America. Turks love when a Turkish guy is thriving, with one exception, NS fucking Contact, okay? There is only one Turkish man, regardless of their politics. Like, there's only one Turkish person that all Turks across the board fucking despise, okay? And that's that motherfucker NS Contact, because he is literally an agent of the CIA. He is a follower of the, now dead Muslim cleric in the Poconos. And NS Contact was such a dick rider of Fethullah Gulen that he basically fucking, openly became an agent of the American state. It's ridiculous. Fuck that guy. That's the one line that like most Turks will not fucking cross. I could be out here being like, yeah, the Armenian genocide happened. It was really fucked up, whatever. Like whatever my perspective is, and some Turks will get really mad at that, but deep down inside, they will still say, it's cool that this guy, we disagree. But we disagree on a lot of stuff, and I think he, hates Turkey, whatever. I'm very patriotic, but like at the end of the day, he's still a Turkish man doing the damn thing. They do not say that about NS Contact because he is an agent of the American state. Okay? Why did I bring all this up? Okay? The reason why I brought it up is because for Denny, he would be fine if he was just like, if he never like spoke about it, and if people were like, unjustly getting mad at him over his opinions that they suspect he has or whatever, that's one thing, right? But it's clear that he's like also using this like angle to be like, I'm the real victim here, and it's like the most annoying fucking thing you can do. Isn't Turkey itself an agent of America though? It is. Yes, Turkey is a NATO nation. That's one of my major fucking criticisms of Turkey, is that it operates at the behest of American empire. Fenerbahce or Galatasaray, Fenerbahce. So yeah, based, I hate everything you stand for, but you are Turk, and you are another example of why Turks are the best. I mean, yeah, that's like, it's like a genuine feeling that a lot of Turkish people have. There's like, unless they're totally bricked, their brains are totally fucking bricked, and they're like ultra nationalists or something. Because like the Islamist Turks, they have a lot of pride and respect, regardless of my kafir ways of painting my nails and drinking alcohol, all this stuff. But they have a lot of respect for what I've done as far as being Turkish, and also being in support of Palestinian emancipation. The left Turks are on board. Okay, Turks love calling you the F slur. Yeah. Left Turks are on board too. The only type of Turks that are not on board is the ultra nationalists, who fucking hate me. They hate me the most. Then he got 35 player votes. Here, I'll just put this up here. Then he got 35 player votes, 4 more than Kawhi Leonard, 2 more than Jamal Murray. Devin Booker got 50 votes and didn't make it. Bro got 2.2 million fan votes, 100,000 less, only 100,000 less than SGA. Okay, while Wemby got 1.96 million. You want to tell me that Wemby is less popular than fucking this man right here? Or do you want to tell me that Wemby is less popular, or is it Israeli bots? It's Mossad, bro. It's Eurovision all over again. Get the fuck out of here. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Get out of here. And he's like, he's just fucking complaining still. Anyway. Whatever. Whatever, dude. Hold up. I didn't even blast off yet, by the way. I must do that now. I just kind of dove into this Danny Avdiha, however you fucking say his last name. I'm sorry. I'll blast off right now. EU caves Daddy Trump on Greenland, question mark. DHS memo violates Fourth Amendment. Gaza Peace Board. Minneapolis general strike tomorrow. Oscars woke again. That's where we're at, by the way. Woke is back. You know what I'm about to say with Sinners. Woke is back, baby. Oscars woke is back. Renee Good autopsy. And get in now. When is Hannah Einbinder coming on? I talk to her all the time. It's so difficult to get her to come on because she is literally always doing stuff. She is always doing shit. Like, she's so goddamn busy. It's crazy. There are a couple like big celebrities that I've been meaning to get on, and it's so difficult to get them on because they're constantly working. Like, they work more than I do. It's wild. But they also like Caleb Heron is another one that like I've bbeen really, really excited to have on the stream or have on the podcast. And like, they do not, it's impossible to get him on because he's like constantly shooting, constantly doing stuff. You need to watch you need to watch something, fake cinephile. I didn't even see that. Yes, talk about Kansas City Tenant Union with Caleb. Yeah, exactly. He's like Caleb, not Caleb Hammer. Isn't Caleb Hammer that financial guy, the financial aid guy? No, I'm talking about I'm not talking about Caleb Hammer. I'm talking about Caleb Heron. Yeah, my goat. Please don't apologize for saying his name wrong. He mispronounces Palestine as Israel all the time. It's true. Can we get a Noel Miller collab? Yeah, of course. Always. Noel's my goat. I love Noel. And you know, I have collabed with him in the past. I will continue to do so. Is March planning to put the Important Conversations interview on YouTube? I desperately want to show it to my conservative relatives. March doesn't handle uploads on YouTube. It should have been up by now, but I think there's an issue with it. So if it's not up yet, I don't know. I don't know why. We need a Vic Mensa collab. That's another one that I can make happen, but haven't had the time to. It's already on fan channels. Oh, CNN is doing a Kelshi ad about the snowstorm. Ew, dude. Really?
All right, there are serious warnings about this major winter storm heading east, affecting 125 million people, maybe more, with forecasts of 1.5 feet of snow possible in major northeastern cities like New York, Philadelphia.
Oh, gross, dude.
And Washington.
I gotta
pee.
Hold on.
So let's put that in some historical perspective. With us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry Etten. Good to see you,
nice
sir.
To see you.
We get 1.5 feet of snow in New York or Philadelphia or Washington. How rare is that?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that's been so interesting to me as a guy who went to weather camp as a kid who actually loves the snow is there really has not been a lot of snow recently in the Northeast, and especially in January. I mean, take a look of this. Years with more than 10 inches of snow in January since 2017. Just 2 in Washington, D.C., just 2 in New York City, and just 1 in Philadelphia. We have been snow-starved for the most part in the major metropolitan areas that line the I-95 from Washington, D.C. up to New York City. I'm hoping it turns around.
And to be clear, this is for an entire month. We're talking about getting more than this in a single day. What's this January been like? Yeah,
okay. So it's not just that the last few years we've been snow-starved. Take a look, snow this month. Inches of snow so far this January. In Washington, D.C., a very sad 0.1 inches of snow. In New York City and Central Park, 2.5 inches of snow. I should note in some of the suburbs it's been more than that. I was out in the suburbs.
When did Harry start doing weather? When Kalshi Predictions started sponsoring the goddamn the goddamn show. Holy Toledo! I mean, I like Harry Emden. I think he's funny. But wait, I know you don't want to give your Greek friend any more shine than he has, but isn't it crazy that Stavi was in a film nominated for Best Picture? No, it's not crazy at all. It's perfectly fucking valid. And it's because Stavros was in Begonia that it was nominated for Best Picture. Okay? Yeah. That's why. We're going to get 10 plus inches in Pittsburgh. Oh, yeah, you are. You see the Lucari stuff? No, I did not. I hope you covered the Lucari stuff. It's really deranged and needs bigger coverage. I have no idea what the fuck that is. But let me tell you something, okay? If you think I'm going to fucking cover like random Twitch streamers right now, okay? I love how you ride for your homies, Hassan. Stavros, Halkias, yes. Even though he's Greek, I do ride for him. It's messed up. It's basic drama. Okay, well, yeah, all right. In short, PDF links on stream. Oh, brother, Jesus Christ. Ugh, it's a CSAM thing and Asman is involved. Okay, that's not drama. I don't think CSAM is drama. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think CSAM is drama. I think that's a crime. That's crazy. That's not drama. That's a crime. That's a crime. That's what you're describing as a crime. It feels like that's a crime. That's not a drama. That's a different category. Okay, maybe I will look into it later, but I mean, obviously there's a lot going on in the world. Maybe we'll get into that. Maybe we'll get into that later. Oh, gross. Gross, gross, gross. Okay. It's always your haters. I don't think Lucari is a hater of mine. I mean, maybe he is. I don't fucking know, but he is. He isn't. I don't know. Why are some people saying he is, and why are some people saying he isn't? I don't really know. I don't really care. I haven't really thought about that at all. Hello, madam. Oh, hello. Hello, pretty lady. Did you have a fun time? Someone's back. Anyway. Yeah. Gross situation here. Fucking gambling predictive market ad on CNN over how much snow is gonna fall. I mean, what is this? What the fuck is this? Chance Dallas gets more than 0.5 inches of snow / sleet this month. Prediction market odds 80%. 0 inches fallen so far. Like, what are we doing? How do people not realize this is fucked? What are we doing, man? What are we doing? What is happening? Everything is gambling. Everything is like pornography, gambling, vices. Like, I am not. And I never will be this kind of like, moral Puritan. Okay. I am as close as you can be to a social libertarian, right? Obviously not that kind of social libertarian. Obviously age of consent is very good. Okay. I know that we're talking about this so closely to what I was just previously saying about someone who may or may not have CSAM on their hard drives. Not that kind of social libertarian. That's bad. That's a crime. And it's good that that is actually a crime. Okay. Just so we're clear. But when it comes to like free speech, or when it comes to, like allowing people to entertain their vices, as long as they are heavily regulated, okay, as long as the access is severely restricted, severely limited, where you can like do it in a certain place, that kind of thing, like, then it's fine. The problem that I have with gambling, especially, is that it is now so accessible. It's in every orifice of our lives. It already ruined sports. Sports betting is already ruining sports, right? And I think even major sports fans will admit to that as well. Some of which, some who are deeply addicted to gambling and sports betting, and some who aren't or were deeply addicted. But this kind of mainstreaming of these vices and the ease of access to having these sorts of to be able to like pursue these endeavors with your fucking phone is terrible. It's terrifying. I'm not Mr. This is morally degenerate. I want to repeat that over and over again, but god damn, dude, can we have some fucking regulation, please? What is the government good for if not for this? If not to stop this kind of thing from happening? President Trump just pisses me the fuck off. Anyway, moving on from gambling. Let's get to it. Trump announced his framework for Greenland deal. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, the international rule-based order is falling apart. Trump's hand is also falling apart. This time it's his left hand and not the one that's Trump's left hand, not the one that's usually disfigured, now has a large bruise and is discolored. These pictures are from today at Davos. Also, one of the things I saw was the ugly-ass cufflinks that he has. Bro, this man is dying. Trump is now 3 different colors. I mean, look at how orange his face is versus how pasty and pale his hand is versus how purple his hand is. Speak into existence, please. I can't. On principle, I can't, because I feel like whichever way it goes, it's just not going to happen. Okay. Good things, nothing good will happen. Only bad can happen. Okay. The exact opposite of what fucking Donald Trump says. Only bad can happen. Nothing good can happen. I'm telling you right now, evil never dies. Evil never dies. Maybe I'm wrong, but evil never dies, at least in my experience. It is pretty funny, though, how like Russified or Turkified Americans are in this regard, hoping that one day it will happen. Yeah, keep praying to God. Okay, keep praying to God. You only pray to God, or you only rely on powerful forces that you lean into when you have no power on your own. You're oppressed. You recognize it, and you can't do anything about it. There's no mechanism of mobilization. There's no mechanism of pushback. So you just like hope that things work out through divine intervention. Okay. White House made a statement on his hand. Okay. Going back to the hand bruise, once again, let's see what the White House's statement was. White House's statement: Trump appeared to have a heavy bruising on his left hand while departing. Open presents with another 100 gifted subs. Oh my Lord. Trump appeared to have heavy bruising on his left hand while departing Davos today. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told CNN that's because Trump hit his hand on the signing table during the Board of Peace event. At the Board of Peace event in Davos, President Trump hit his hand on the corner of the signing table, causing it to bruise. Trump and his physicians have previously said he is susceptible to hand bruising due to his daily aspirin take, something a White House official also noted. Trump did not appear to have the extensive bruising yesterday. Bro, I'm still going to say it. Evil never dies. But like, this man is fragile, bro. He is fucking frail. He is a frail ass dude. It's crazy. I mean, he's old as hell, but like, what is happening? You just like fucking... You have like a major rupture. You have a major rupture. You got, bro, this is more internal bleeding than Jonathan Ross, okay? Than the Department of Homeland Security claiming Jonathan Ross got internal bleeding. That's more internal bleeding and bruising than Jonathan Ross ever could claim. Do you understand? You don't exercise, you don't eat well. I know, but it don't matter. Can you please be respectful? He has a boo-boo? Fuck no. Oh, man. How do we keep believing anything knowing the Peace Club fuckers got 35 countries in? True question, King. How? We don't. The tech bros did the Trump what the Democratic bosses did the FDR, replaced Trump with their pick a VP, just like the DNC replaced the great American progressive Wallace with Truman. I mean, I do believe that could happen, because I've said it before. The only way JD Vance actually gets close to power is not by way of democracy, but if Donald Trump somehow passes away. Okay? I don't think there is a real way. There's a real path forward for JD Vance to win the presidency on his own. It's just not happening. And that is because he is not a Chad. He is not even a low tier normie. He does not mog anyone. Everyone is capable of mogging him. He's fat, and he sucks. He's Rizless. He can't mog, and it's a mog eat. Can you get the door? It's a mog eat mog world out there, baby. That's how it is. Do you know what that is? Okay.
Departing Davos just hours after backing off his threats to take Greenland by force and scrapping plans to impose tariffs on European allies who are not on board. The president sitting down with NATO Secretary General, emerging with a framework of a deal. The president claiming the U.S. will take full control of Greenland, but not telling us how.
Will you have control of all of Greenland, Mr. President?
How many countries?
You will have control of all of Greenland?
But the Danish foreign minister has made it clear Greenland is not for sale. The White House not providing any further details about a framework or deal.
Does it still include the United States having ownership of Greenland like you said you wanted?
It's a long-term deal. It's the ultimate long-term deal. And I think it puts everybody in a really good position, especially as it pertains to
JD Vance is live in Minnesota speaking. Do we have the link? Let's take a look. I'll dive into that. I'll fucking get into that. I'll cover it. Where's that at? JD Vance is in Murderapolis. Anyone got the link?
Able to do their jobs without being harassed, without being doxxed, and sometimes without being assaulted. That's totally unacceptable. And that's one of the things that I want to send a message to is, yes, come out and protest me, protest our immigration policy, but do it peacefully. If you assault a law enforcement officer, the Trump administration and the Department of Justice is going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law.
Shut up,
I wanted
bitch.
to show some support for these guys who, frankly, are operating in a very, very tough environment. I heard a lot of stories today about that I think drives home just how chaotic the environment on the ground here has already gotten. For example, did you know that within the last, I think, week or so, maybe even more recently than that, you had a couple of ICE officers who were off duty,
They
who
got
had been
boo-boos?
doxxed online, who were sitting and having a meal at a restaurant in Minneapolis when a bunch of agitators showed up, locked the door, made them feel like they were in danger for their lives, and then, of course, it was federal law enforcement officers who had to come up, lower the temperature on the situation, and actually get those two off-duty officers to
the
a point of safety.
Gestapo's fifis
Now
were
imagine,
hurt.
if you would,
The Gestapo's
your life
fifis were
and your
hurting.
perspective on law enforcement if you can't even go to a restaurant without some
How
agitators
dare you
walking
hurt
the
my
door and making you
feelings,
feel
my
like your life is in
feelings.
danger. That
I
is
got
the
a
environment
boo-boo.
that has
Get
been
the
created,
fuck
I
out of
think,
here, man.
of very, frankly,
That's
far
crazy.
left people,
That's crazy.
but also by some of the state and local law enforcement officials who could do a much better job in cooperating and working. And by the way, I'm not talking about the cops, who these guys told me on the ground, the cops are very sympathetic to what they're dealing with.
What the fuck's going on here with this goddamn video?
Elected law enforcement
What is happening?
officials who could do a lot better job in making their lives a little bit easier, and in the process, they would make the lives of all Minneapolis residents easier, and that's what we want. We want to be able to enforce the immigration laws on the one hand, while on the other hand, we want to make sure that people in Minneapolis are able to go about their day. And I want to say just one last point on this. So I heard from a business leader today who told me a very tough story, and I think so much of what's gone wrong in Minneapolis is people not trying to understand the perspective of somebody else. Try to understand what somebody else is experiencing, whether they're a law enforcement officer or anybody in the community here in Minneapolis. So they told me a story about this manufacturing
story alert.
facility
Fake story alert.
where an illegal
Fake story
immigrant
alert
was being
from
arrested.
sympathetic
And
business
as the
owner, small business
went
owner.
into the manufacturing facility, all of a sudden, an illegal immigrant shows up. They don't know it's an illegal immigrant, and then a bunch of ICE officers descend. Now, these people just want to go to work. They want to go to work safely, and now all of a sudden, there's a major law enforcement operation happening
You wanna hang out?
right outside their place of business. Now, from one
didn't get
perspective,
enough energy
I
out
certainly
there, did
understand
you?
why a business leader
Hello.
or why an employee would say, whoa, what's going on? It's a little scary, no matter your position in life, if a bunch of cop cars show
Okay.
up and they're arresting somebody. Now, the additional context is that we know that people online have been encouraging illegal immigrants that one way they can evade arrest is by showing up at a legitimate place of business, making it impossible for these guys to actually enforce our immigration laws. So while I can
What do you
understand
want?
the perspective of somebody who doesn't want to see an arrest happen at their place of work, I can also understand the perspective of our immigration enforcement officers who have to do their job and can't allow a heckler's veto over our immigration enforcement. And so much of what's gone wrong is the failure to do that. And here's the point. We can do a good job of enforcing our immigration laws without the chaos, but it actually requires the cooperation of state and local officials. If you look at blue cities and blue states, red cities and red states, you go to Austin, Texas, or Memphis, Tennessee. You go to the state of Texas, obviously a very red state, or the state of Tennessee, a very red state, but you've got blue cities within those states, you do not have this level of chaos. The reason why things have gotten so out of hand is because of failure of cooperation between the state and local authorities and what these guys are trying to do. We have a ton of resources, a ton of ICE agents in this city right now that I would rather us not have. I'd love to send those guys home. They're not even doing targeted immigration enforcement. They are trying to protect ICE officers who are doing immigration enforcement, because when a crowd surrounds them and these guys call 911, the local officials, the local cops have been told to stand down.
Then leave.
So we have
You're a bitch.
people
You're a
here
bitch. By
who
the
aren't
way,
even
this
doing
is
immigration
literally reverse Tim
enforcement,
Walz,
they're doing
okay?
force protection.
This is part of the reason
So that
why
if
I
a
think JD
rioter
Vance
tries
sucks
to
and
ruin
will
the
never
life
make it,
or assault
okay?
an ICE
Because he's far too liberal coded, okay? The way he tries to, like, justify this through legal language and tries to fucking reach out to the hearts and minds of like liberals. Like, no, man, you can't do fucking fascist standpoint theory from the perspective of the Gestapo. Okay. Excuse me, you're doing a bodies in spaces. Have you realized how toxic your behavior is when you got ICE agents that are trying to conduct door knocking operations in your neighborhood? Like, that's so, stop bitching. Stop fucking bitching. Just leave. Just fuck off and leave. Okay?
The temperature and lower the chaos. That's a problem. Here's another example.
Does JD Vance know Jester Maxing is the new meta? He should be having fun. Instead of trying to do the stiff arm move, he should be doing Jester Maxing, just clowning and having a good time.
We have a criminal migrant who is a sex offender. And let's say that we've got to go and arrest that person who, Democrat or Republican, wants a...
Cops. That's who arrest that person, not ICE. There is already a fucking function of law enforcement, okay? If there is a sex offender... And by the way, wouldn't be talking about sex offenders if I was JD Vance. Let's be fucking real. Donald Trump is the president right now. But like, and he is protecting all of the elite pedophiles. But having said that, if there's a sex offender that must be arrested, cops do that, okay? Not ICE. The entire point of ICE is not to actually arrest anybody, really, is to handle paperwork violations, okay?
And try to find where this criminal sex offender is today. The local authorities have been told, do not cooperate. So these guys are trying to go out and enforce the law. They're trying to arrest sex offenders, but they're trying to do it in an environment where local officials have been told, do not help them, do not provide intelligence about where these sex offenders might be. This is disgraceful. And there are a lot of things that all of us could do better to lower the temperature, but the number one thing that I learned today is that the best way to facilitate reasonable enforcement of the law, but also to lower the chaos in Minneapolis, would be for state and local officials to cooperate. Now, I will say, on one final positive note, I actually think that there's some hope, some reason to think that there's going to be better cooperation in the weeks and months to come. I think that because I've talked to some of the local officials here. I think there are reasons to believe that these people are going to step up and actually ask the cops to protect our ICE officers when they're being assaulted, who are going to ask the local courts to cooperate with getting criminal sex offenders out of our community. That's a good thing. That's the good news, and that's something I'm going to work on when I get back to Washington. But please, if you're a local official, if you're the mayor of this town, if you have any influence over those people, just tell them to cooperate. Because we could have immigration enforcement operate as smoothly and without the chaos that we see in Austin, Texas, or Memphis, Tennessee, or even rural parts of the state of Minnesota. All we need is a little cooperation. I guarantee you, we're going to do the best to be professional, to respect people's rights, to not do anything that we don't have to do in order to enforce immigration laws, but it would make our lives a lot easier.
37-year-old lady in the face.
A lot safer, and it would make Minneapolis much less chaotic if we had a little bit of cooperation from the state and local officials. With that, I'll shut up and take some questions. Thank you, guys.
Bro, they're putting fucking him on Kamala alert, by the way. He's doing janitorial duties right now. This is Trump is literally making him oversee the least popular aspects of this admin. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Well, I'm proud of the fact that we're standing behind
just as Joe Biden gave the borders our duty to Kamala Harris, which was like the least popular position you could be in if you're, working in a Democratic administration. The vice presidential job here is very important. If you think JD Vance is going to be the leader of this movement when you're done, because you ate too many aspirins or because you got too tired to be president and you want to retire in I don't know, Saudi Arabia or whatever. Like, if you think JD Vance is going to be continuing the movement, you shouldn't be making him do this shit. This is shit cleanup job.
Alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America? If the argument is that you can't arrest people who have violated our laws because they have children, then every single parent is going to be completely given immunity from ever being the subject of law enforcement.
He's literally saying the 5-year-old was detained as bait to draw out the father, and that's good. What are we supposed to do? Not do that? Yeah, the answer is yes, you fucking asshole.
I've looked into personally where I say, wait a second. We don't want ICE arresting American citizens. They're supposed to be enforcing the immigration laws against illegal aliens. So then I look into it and I find out that the American citizen who was arrested took a swing at an ICE officer. You can't have that happen. And of course they have to defend themselves. And of course they have the right to detain somebody who assaults a law enforcement officer. Now, this is my point. Do we want these things to happen? Do we want these arrests to be so chaotic? No, we don't. These guys want it least of all, but if we had a little cooperation from local and from local and state officials, I think the chaos would go way down in this community.
President!
Go ahead.
After the Renee Good shooting, sir, the administration seemed to suggest...
Yeah, well, you can go next.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought you pointed it out.
No, that's fine. I'll take both.
After the Renee Good shooting, sir, the administration seemed to... After the Renee Good shooting, the administration seemed to suggest that ICE officers enjoyed near complete immunity. But today you told the Washington Examiner that when appropriate, the administration might take disciplinary actions against ICE agents. So is that a change of opinion? And if so, why the change in tone?
No, I didn't say, and I don't think any other official within the Trump administration said that officers who engaged in wrongdoing would enjoy immunity. That's absurd. What I did say is that when federal law enforcement officers violate the law, that is typically something that federal officials would look into. We don't want these guys to have kangaroo courts. We want them to actually have real due process, real investigation, because again, sometimes they're accused of wrongdoing, and it turns out when you learn the context, they didn't actually do anything wrong. But of course we're going to investigate these things. Of course we're investigating the Renee Good shooting, but we're investigating them in a way that respects people's rights and then ensures that if somebody did something wrong, yes, they're going to face disciplinary action, but we're not going to judge them in the court of public opinion. I've spoken at length on this particular case. I think that Renee Good's death is a tragedy. I also think that she rammed an ICE officer with her car. So the tragedy here is multi-layered. The tragedy is there was a misunderstanding. The tragedy is that Renee Good lost her life. The tragedy is that you have ICE officers who are going into communities where they're worried that if they call 911, no one's going to come to help them. That is what produces.
Yeah, those are varying degrees of different tragedies. It's like saying, well, you know, the Holocaust was a tragedy. Also, I stubbed my toe the other day while I was going to kill someone. Like, those are not comparable levels, okay? One is a fucking unlawful murder of an American citizen. The other is ICE getting scared when they're engaging in unlawful actions.
I'm pro-life, and I'm very excited to speak there. I want to talk about local law enforcement, but, you know, I mean, look, I am... As a child, I saw people in my family get arrested. It's terrible. It's heartbreaking. It's chaotic. It's traumatic for the kids. I can recognize that, and I can recognize that we got to support these kids, while on the other hand saying that just because you're a parent doesn't mean that you get complete immunity from law enforcement. And I think we have to hold both of those thoughts in our head at the same time. We've got to be sympathetic to the kids who are caught up in some of these enforcement actions. We've also got to say we have to enforce the law without bias, with fairness, but we've got to enforce
JD
the law.
Vance said,
Mr. Vice President!
JD Vance said, listen, I'm an adult, but I was once a child too. And as a former child, I think it's okay to detain children right now, to lure out their fathers and lure out whoever else you want to lure out in an effort to detain all of them and deport them.
St. Cloud.
Yeah. After the incident, the mayor said that ICE did not communicate with them that they were in the city for a major operation. The police
Sorry,
chief did not know
5-year-old
about the
baby,
operation at
you
the
broke
time.
the law.
Could you talk a little bit about proactive communication with local law enforcement?
Yeah, it's one of the takeaways. I've talked with these guys before we came on the stage, but during our roundtable and some of the other conversations we've had, communication, we absolutely want to ensure there's good communication between federal officials
The oh-so
and state
moral
and local
Hassan.
officials, and I'm sure that we can do better on that. We absolutely want to make sure that we
This
are
is my favorite.
communicating.
Okay,
That
where
also
woke
requires
is back
street, and that's
because now these guys have turned back to the, oh, you're just virtue signaling. Like, we've gotten back to 2016 era idiotic conversations where it's like, I recognize that you're actually signaling that you're a moral person and that my side is actually immoral in this conversation. So instead of entertaining the notion that maybe my side is doing something unimaginably wrong, I'm just going to turn around and say, you're such a bitch, dude. You're such a bitch for thinking that ICE agents shouldn't fucking detain little babies, 5-year-old babies, in an effort to lure out a bunch of family members so they can do a dragnet operation in a fucking house. I know. Imagine, close your eyes and imagine China doing that or something, okay? And then you can maybe have a consistent position on it. Fucking idiot. These are the same people that go, oh, if our state is doing it, then it's, then it's actually good. Like, think about it, dude. Conservatives literally will be like, oh, what about the Uyghur Muslims? And meanwhile, we're doing like Xinjiang shit in fucking broad daylight in America in your backyard. And you're like, nah, it's awesome.
How much is this tactic being used?
Yeah, so I saw that story, and the story is like so much that I read in the mainstream media. It's missing a whole lot of context, and when you appreciate the context, it makes sense. No one is saying, look, there are exceptions. For example, a crazy exception, if somebody is fired at from inside a house, they don't need a warrant to go inside that person's house. There are very narrow exceptions to the warrant requirement where law enforcement officers don't need a...
Yeah, a fucking serving someone paperwork is not a justification to violate the Fourth Amendment. It's not the equivalent of being shot at. Yeah, no shit.
Really has proposed in the Department of Justice is that we can get administrative warrants to enforce administrative immigration law. Now, it's possible, I guess, that the courts will say no, and of course, if the courts say no, we would follow that law, but nobody is talking about doing immigration enforcement without a warrant. We're talking about different types of warrants that exist in our system.
Yes.
Typically, what happens...
An administrative warrant is nothing. It's nothing. It's like a McDonald's manager, okay? What the fuck do you mean? That doesn't mean anything. It's not a valid warrant to actually go into someone's home. And everyone knows this. You went to law school. You were a JAG lawyer. You know that it's not fucking legal. Shut the fuck up.
We're never going to enter somebody's house without some kind of a warrant, unless, of course, somebody's firing on an officer or they have to do something in order to protect themselves.
Follow up on that. Do you believe that you can forcibly enter with an administrative warrant, or would that be a violation of the Fourth Amendment?
Well, our understanding is that you can enforce the immigration laws of the country under an administrative order if you have an administrative warrant. That's what we think. That's our understanding of the law. That's our best faith attempt to understand the law.
God, he's trying.
Again, this is something
dude, this is what I mean. Just say, of course we're gonna do it. Like Trump would be like, of course we're gonna do it. What the fuck are you gonna say? Due process is too difficult to follow.
It's done through the administrative law system. We're gonna continue that practice.
It's not a legal gray area, guys.
Or any other
JD Vance knows it's not a legal gray area. He's making it seem like it's a legal gray area. It's not. It is a clear-cut violation of the constitutional protections afforded to every single person on U.S. soil, whether documented, undocumented, whether natural-born U.S. citizen or naturalized U.S. citizen or not. This is a matter of constitutional law. He knows that it is illegal. He knows. He's like, oh, well, you know, I signed a piece of paper that said I'm the best boy, so obviously you have to follow through on that piece of paper that I signed on my own. Get the fuck out of here.
The federal government to use the military for local law enforcement operations. Right now, we don't think that we need that. Now, the president could change his mind. Of course, things could get worse. But right now, we think that federal law enforcement officers can do the job of federal law enforcement. Now, what I do worry about, again, is if the chaos gets worse, if more and more ICE agents start getting assaulted, if other law enforcement officers start getting assaulted, that would be a real problem. But again, we have so much federal law enforcement resources here right now. We have so many people here that we do not want to have here. I do not want so many ICE officers in Minneapolis right now. I mean, good Lord, it's really, really freaking cold outside. But they're here not even to enforce immigration laws, but to protect the people from the rioters. That's an absurd state of affairs, and we wouldn't need it if we had a little bit more cooperation from the Minneapolis Police Department. Again, the Minneapolis Police Department, my understanding is that the actual beat cops on the ground, they would love to help out, but they're being told by somebody, I don't know if it's Mayor Frey, they're being told by somebody not to cooperate at all. What kind of a person tells their local police don't protect somebody if they're being assaulted by a rioter? It's crazy, and it's got to stop. Yes.
Earlier this week, local law enforcement accused federal agents of racial profiling. Why are there so many U.S. citizens being caught up in this operation?
Well, I think your question assumes something that's not necessarily in evidence, which is that when there are American citizens who have been caught up in some of these enforcement operations, very often it is people who have assaulted a law enforcement officer. They're not being arrested because they violated the immigration laws. They're being arrested because they punched a federal law enforcement officer. That is a totally reasonable thing. Now, to the accusation of racial profiling, look, it's something that we take very seriously. We will take accusations of racial profiling back to Washington. We'll certainly look into them as they come up.
The accusation came from cops, okay? I feel like they know racial profiling when they see it. You know,
looking for people who violate.
It's like getting yelled at by like the legion of pedophiles for engaging in pedophilia. Okay, like this is the thing that they do. All right, big dog. when a fucking off-duty cop says, hey, I'm being racially profiled, I'm going to take that seriously because they know from their own day-to-day experiences what racial profiling looks like because they're the kings of racial profiling. Okay?
Then the local officials say, oh my God, these guys are doing widespread targeted enforcement operations when in reality, we would love to just go to one house. The local officials won't.
Also, we've seen the videos where like the most Hispanic man wearing a mask is talking to another Hispanic American being like, where are your fucking papers? And the guy goes, why are you asking me that? And the dude goes, because you have a fucking accent. I'm sorry.
Is that a concern?
We've seen the fucking videos. We know they're doing racial profiling. The Supreme Court actually defended that racial profiling.
Officers are being targeted, and they described it as, quote, civil rights violations in our streets.
So I saw one story about this and one local police officer who said this. And look, certainly is it a concern? Absolutely. The first thing we have to figure out is whether it happened or not. And then if it happened, whether there is a good explanation or a bad explanation. And of course, if somebody violated the law, if somebody racially profiled, if somebody violated the rights of one of our fellow citizens, that is something we will take very seriously. What I also would say is that many of the most viral stories of the past couple of weeks have turned out to be, at best, partially true. So we want to try people based on reality, based on the truth, based on context. We're not going to prejudge people just because of a viral social media story that turned out to be half false.
Quick question about the roundtable you just had. I presume that happened. Did you invite anybody with an opposing point of view to get an idea of why people are upset here? And just as a quick follow-up, have you reached out to Governor Walz at all in an attempt to turn down the temperature?
So I haven't talked to Governor Walz on this particular trip. A number of members of our administration, I believe our chief of staff, spoke to the governor and has been in constant contact with his staff over the past week. We've been in my office in constant contact with people here on the ground in Minneapolis. There were certainly people at our roundtable with opposing views, and look, I don't even know, whether it's public, but yes, we met with people with opposing views here at the roundtable. I wanted to get a perspective from everybody, but also, of course, offer my opinion that with a little bit more cooperation, we could lower the chaos. We're going to keep on doing that. If Governor Walz wants to call me, we'll absolutely continue talking. I will say that my sense of this situation, having talked to these guys for a long time, is this is primarily a law enforcement issue. This is the Attorney General. This is the local mayor. This is all of the organs of local.
It's pretty crazy that he's saying this. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice has already launched false cases on every single local politician.
And really helping out.
Like they are doing lawfare on the one hand and doing like illegal domination,
locally, and this
like a domestic occupation with a federal agency that's completely out of control on the other hand.
Cities from here.
Well, right now we're focused on Minneapolis because that's where we have the highest concentration of people who have violated our immigration laws, and that's also, frankly, where we see the most assault of our law enforcement officers. I mean, our plan is very simple. If you assault a federal law enforcement officer, we're going to do everything that we can to put you in prison. It's very simple. And most of these protesters, as much as I may disagree with their politics, most of them have been peaceful.
This is literally the Reddit moderator, but with more hair.
If you go and insult a federal law enforcement officer,
we're
going to try very hard.
If you hurt our ICE agents' feelings, we will kill you.
Respect people's rights. Respect people's rights to worship. Respect people's rights to do their job without being assaulted. If you follow that basic principle, the Trump administration is doing everything that we can to protect your rights. But if you go after somebody, if you assault somebody, if you make a 9-year-old girl cry because you walked into her church and harassed her, we're going to go after you with every single tool that we have.
You just defended the cop. You just defended the ICE agents detaining a 5-year-old to kidnap a bunch of other people. What are we talking about? Oh, a 9-year-old was crying in a church. Bro, shut the fuck up. Y'all literally do ICE raids on churches. You arrest pastors. What the fuck are you saying?
America. Significant reductions in violent crime. The reason why we have less violent crime is really 2 reasons. Number one, because we're enforcing.
Bro, they're doing ICE raids on schools. They're tear gassing children, and then they turn around and go, a 9-year-old's feelings were hurt. A 9-year-old's feelings were hurt when people were protesting a fucking ICE field office guy who also happens to be a fucking pastor. Suck my dick. You're out of your dang mind, brother.
We can to lower the temperature, and we would like federal and local, state and local officials to meet us halfway. So much so.
Are you saying that they're not perceiving it correctly? Are you saying that they're not seeing that it's the tactics or the presence of the officers that are
Look, I'm sure that people are seeing a lot of things that would make any member of our national community feel very upset. But I also think that if you understand this in context, this is the inevitable consequence of a state and local government that have decided that they're not going to cooperate with immigration enforcement at all. In fact, they're going to aggressively not cooperate. So here's a basic illustration of this. If you are an ICE officer and you have to arrest a person who's committed assault and is also an illegal alien, but the state and local officials won't help you identify that person, many of the things that people in Minneapolis are seeing that give them pause, that frustrate them, that worry them, that make them feel like things are too chaotic, many of these things are coming from the fact that there's no cooperation.
I think his style is so fucking insufferable. I can't get over it. It's always like he's trying to say Heil Hitler in the nerdiest, most like liberal coded way possible, and I can't stand it. Like, there are different types of villains in this administration. Like, Stephen Miller is just straight up trying to do like Adolf Hitler speeches, but he's such a fucking wormy little nerd that he's like, we must secure a meaningful existence for our white children. That's right. And like JD Vance does something even worse than that, in my opinion. Like if Stephen Miller is like the soy Reich, JD Vance is like, has adopted the language of the worst academic liberalism while trying to justify heinous crimes against humanity. Like, everything is Failenial speak. Everything he does is like, actually. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Why have you not been able to speak to them directly? Have they not been willing to do so?
Well, look, I have spoken to some of the people in Minnesota directly. I spoke to some of them today. I've spoke to others in the past. And again, our staff has been in very direct contact with pretty much every official with any influence or any power in Minneapolis. But no, we're not trying to send a political message. We're trying to enforce the law.
Like, guys, we have to do this. We have to kill you. We have to go door to door and demand your papers. Actually, have you heard of law and order? Like, that's what he's doing
across the United States of America. There's been a very unique.
Didn't really care about immigration in the past, but now they're saying shit like maybe these illegals are a drain on us. No,
look, I don't need Tim.
No, conservative-leaning liberals are way more horrified at the prospect of the federal government doing this kind of like genuine domestic occupation. Are you kidding me? No, the polls do not show that reality at all, with the exception of the most psychopathic coalition that you have ever seen in this goddamn country, Republicans, of course. With the exception of Republicans, ICE's approval ratings are underwater with everyone. Independents are saying fuck ICE. Democrats are saying fuck ICE. The only people that are saying we love ICE is like 58% of Republicans, which is kind of low, honestly, even for Republicans in general. So like, no, most people are looking at the situation and seeing the horror that you're all seeing.
Right, pepper balls. Beyond that, what is the federal government's role in turning down the temperature?
You're losing even conservatives right now because
says like that its own officers have been cooperating with ICE all along, handing over criminals once they serve their sentences to ICE officials. Can you concede that there is some cooperation with the state?
Yeah, look, if
you're
I was
wrong.
To list the 5 agencies,
brother. You can say I'm wrong all day, every day, but the fucking polling shows a different reality. Okay. The polls show a different fucking reality. Yeah, you got majority everywhere across the board saying that ICE's presence in communities is more harmful than helpful, okay? You got the Emerson poll that just came out where 57%, the majority think ICE's presence in communities is more harmful than beneficial. Poll released 9 hours ago. But the poll I'm referencing is another recent poll that just came out, where ICE's approval ratings are underwater as an agency with everyone, with the exception of Republicans. This is what I was actually trying to show you. ICE's net approval is -27 for all, with Democrats is -91%, which is why the Democratic Party not actually taking fucking a more stringent approach, more strict approach to ICE and punishing ICE is insane to me, but expected because they're fucking pussies. Independents at -41%. With black people, it's -71%. With Hispanic people, it's -41%, which, by the way, this will never not be funny. I'm sorry. Oh, my fucking God. Like, that's why I laugh whenever you see, like, another federal agent being like, I'm a Black Panther Party member, and actually, ICE is not our deal. we don't care about ICE. It's like, you're not. You're a federal law enforcement officer that is undercover, that is presenting himself as a fucking Black Panther person. You're not Black Panther Party material. Let's be fucking real, okay? You can't even abide by the anger that Black people feel towards this kind of federal incursion in every community in Black and brown neighborhoods. You're just trying to do fucking propaganda. Anyway, white people is at minus 15%, which is expected. But even then, look at that. White people at minus 15%. That's crazy. This is the most reactionary subgroup in the fucking country, and it's at minus 15% approval. Okay? Net disapproval overall, except for, ding, ding, ding, Republicans at plus 58%. This is what I was talking about. Okay? There is a very real fissure in this country where the overwhelming majority of this nation state is frustrated with Trump, is frustrated with their economic conditions not improving, is frustrated with what Trump is doing, all this like fuck shit overseas, where they're like, why do I care about fucking taking Greenland? Suck my dick. I don't care. Fix the prices, right? And then on top of that, when they see this kind of domestic maneuvering, when they see the federal law enforcement agencies, like heavily militarized federal law enforcement agents coming in and going door to door, demanding to see people's papers, they go, what the fuck is happening? This sucks. This sucks so much dick. With the exception of Republicans. And the fact that only Republicans are at plus 58 approval for ICE means that even Republicans are actually now saying enough is enough about ICE. Do you understand? You spoke with one of the 58% of Republicans just yesterday, the Bobs of the world? Yes. And with like 3 fucking questions, even the most ultra MAGA guy like Bob was willing to concede on key issues like education, free education. Even though he was like resilient, even though he was resistant, he was understanding. He was open-minded to that. Even with healthcare, like that's what I'm trying to say. And Bob is a unique figure. Bob is ultra MAGA. He's the most MAGA, right? And a lot of you have a family member like Bob, and that's the reason why. And that's the reason why you think. That's the reason why you think everyone is like Bob. Every MAGA person is like Bob. They are 20% of the country. Okay, they are 20% of the country. This is true. 20% of the country, give or take, is like Bob. That's insane. That's insane. 20% of the country is in a fucking cult, okay? There's no other way to put it. Having said that, that's only 20% of the country, okay? And it's not only 20% of the country, but it's also a 20% of the nation that is fairly old for the most part, or, you know, some of them are lumpen proles. Haley posted that you made some headway with her parents. I never thought when my family and I started the Necessary Conversation pod that we'd be invited to chat with Hassan the Piker, but here we are. My team watched live from the Hive today. I actually think Hassan made some headway with my parents. I'm indebted. Now we could send some Hive merch to our favorite political commentator. See, I told you. I mean, they probably will go back to the same business as usual politics when push comes to shove. But remember, it doesn't even matter, right? It doesn't even matter because it's only fucking 20% of citizens. No, not even voters. I would say 20% of citizens in this country. I'm being as open-minded to like how large this group is. So if you're constantly surrounded by people that are representatives of that 20%, you think everyone is like this. Every right-winger is like this. Most right-wingers outside of that 20%, you can have a conversation with and get them to understand that it's completely ridiculous what the Trump administration is doing. Okay? What does that black statistic mean? I am just wondering. What do you mean? It means black people are more woke than everyone on average all the time, regardless of what the fucking media tries to present it as. That's it. There was never a moment where black people in the United States of America were going to be on board with ICE agents going door to door demanding to see fucking papers of other black Americans of Somali descent. Like, not even just black Americans of Somali descent, but like anyone for that matter. That's it. Yeah, woke was literally created by black people. Exactly. It's just so stupid that you see all this stuff where like you do see an expression of I think upper middle class black liberalism on Twitter quite a bit. And there is this like academic liberalism that comes from some black liberals in general that are doing well by and large. And that's all you hear from like root.com article writers and stuff like that will say like, you know, misogynoir is a real problem. Like it's the biggest problem like in the black community. And it's mostly being championed by black men who are violent and aggressive, like shit like that gets recycled all the time. That gives white liberals a permission structure to also shit on black men. Like people that have that kind of mentality are the ones you only fucking hear from. And that's not the case at all. Okay. That's not the case at all. That's not how this works. There's 0% chance that that black people are going to see what this government is doing currently and go, yeah, no, this is not exactly what we have fought for in the past, like our, grandparents fought for to give us a crumb of civil liberties. It's just stupid. That's why I always tell you guys, do not fucking pay attention to people who are saying oh, well, I didn't vote. I voted for Kamala Harris. Those are the Free Palestine voters are bullshit. I'm tired. Black people are tired. All that stuff is ridiculous. Black people have always been at the forefront of social justice in this fucking country, okay? Always. Historically, as a matter of survival. And that survival instinct has not gone away because the conditions have not changed. Certainly they've improved, but they haven't changed. So whenever someone tries to say oh, as a black person, we're staying out of this. We voted for Kamala Harris. We're staying out of this. It's you're not a white woman in the suburbs. You can try and stay out of it, or you can try to get other people to also join in on the we're staying out of this meta, but it's not going to happen. Most black people are not going to stay out of it, okay? Because they recognize this is a matter of survival. White supremacy impacts everyone, okay? We aren't a monolith. Yes, black people, of course, are not a monolith. But if there's one thing that is almost monolithic of contemporary black existence or historical black existence in American society, it is understandably fighting against white supremacy. Because it's a mechanism of survival. Anyway, Open Presence, thank you for another 100 gifted subs. Thanks, chatter. Thank you for purposely misrepresenting this take. No one is a monolith, and black people aren't a monolith either, but they are all black. And if you're black in a white supremacist country, then obviously you're gonna have a very different understanding of white supremacy because you've experienced it. That's it. Anyway, you're doing the whole butt thing. No, I'm not. It's not. No, it's common fucking sense, chatter. What are you talking about? Every black person is black. And therefore, every black person will be at some point, whether inadvertently, whether they recognize it or not, and most people do recognize it, victims to white supremacist systems, white supremacist constructs. That's just how it works. Okay? I'll give you a great example of this. Candace Owens. Candace Owens is a white supremacist through and through, right? She does white supremacist commentary. She is a white supremacist. That's her output. That's what she does for the most part. Now, that might have changed a little bit in the recent years, but that's what she did her entire career. Candace Owens also was a victim of a hate crime when she was growing up. She actually successfully sued the Connecticut Board of Education because she was victim to a hate crime that caused her to have an eating disorder. Okay? I don't see color unlike Hassan. I have no clue if I'm black or not. Anyway, LARPers are about to jump in this, pretending that they're black and have a counterpoint. Please ignore them. Yeah. I will continue to ignore them, just as I've always ignored when people were like, well, you don't understand. Black people are tired. They're done. They're done with this conversation. They're seeing themselves out of this conversation. Okay, well, the conversation is not seeing them as people outside of the conversation. Something I noticed in that conversation is Republicans are fed their talking points by state-run media like Fox and Newsmax, and most of the people aren't just equipped to combat that messaging since there's no real opposition media. Yes. Well, that's the role I try to play. To the best of my ability. All right, let's get back to Donald Trump treating white countries, European countries, like they're non-white countries, and the impact that has had on the European continent.
Long-term deal. It's the ultimate long-term deal. And I think it puts everybody in a really good position, especially as it pertains to security and minerals and everything else.
This morning, NATO Secretary General telling Reuters the deal calls for allies to step up their Arctic security measures and believes it can be done early this year. The president has insisted the U.S. needs Greenland for national security, but an existing agreement already allows the president to expand American military presence on the island. On the world stage, the president repeatedly bashing America's European allies who have been critical of his goal.
Certain places in Europe are not even recognizable, frankly, anymore. They're not recognizable. And we can argue about it, but there's no argument.
His threat to hit our allies with steep tariffs sent the market tumbling, something the president himself acknowledged as he repeatedly confused Greenland with the country of Iceland.
They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because...
This is also another very funny moment where he just kept saying Iceland over and over again when talking about Greenland. And then Caroline Leavitt was like, actually, the president clearly meant Greenland, but because Greenland is very icy, he just said Iceland. That's a different country. I cannot believe how fucking stupid this goddamn administration is and how hard they're caping, how hard they're coping, and how hard they're caping, how hard they're sweeping for someone who is objectively in the throes of dementia. Okay? It's fine, man. He's Brandoning. Okay? It's Brandonian. It's Brandanistan. We are in Brandon. We are deep in the throes of Brandon.
Because of Iceland. So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money.
The president now says he will not use military force to seize Greenland, but he knocked the critical NATO alliance that came to America's defense after the 9/11 attacks, the first and only time Article 5 was ever invoked.
They have a choice. You can say yes, and we will be.
Can't believe it. We saw the Dems do it to Biden for 4 years. I know. I hate it. There is no reward for being intellectually honest or morally consistent, for the record. And you shouldn't expect the reward regardless. You should just do it for the sake of doing the right thing. But as someone who was very aggressively in pursuit of calling into question the media's servile nature, getting mad at the media for making it seem like Brandon wasn't, clearly demented for like the last 5 years or so, it is very frustrating to see. It is very frustrating to see Donald Trump go through similar things, and then right-wing media will so aggressively defend it. Okay? Right-wing media will just be like, oh, that's not what, shut up. Iceland is next, actually. We're going to take Iceland. He was right when he said Iceland. I will say, as someone who is an anti-imperialist, these past couple of days of watching European leadership squirm, I would be lying to you if I didn't find a little bit of pleasure in that, just like a crumb, especially after these fucking animals turned a blind eye to the atrocities that they were committing in Gaza, especially because it happened literally like a week after, not even a week after, but like a couple days after they were celebrating Donald Trump's excellent military operation in Venezuela. Okay? It's just like watching it unfold, like, seeing these guys go, wait a minute, you're treating us like a brown person. You're treating us like we're a black or brown country. Hold on, we're a white country. What is this? It was pretty funny. Will this actually turn into a wake-up call for European leadership? Will this actually be a wake-up call for European liberals to take a hardened stance and try to develop sovereignty? I don't think so, as I said already. I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Look, this was really funny. Britain must declare independence from America or it will die. Tim Stanley on the 18th of January. 11th of January. Trump controls the world and Britain ought to let him have it. We gain nothing by pretending we're still a world power while our nation rots from the inside. Hassan, the Euro cucks every time.
Sticker. Punish me, Daddy. And we seem a part of an elite group who takes matters into his own hands. Oh, punish me. Oh, punish me.
Bro, these things are getting, it's like, if I were to get banned for this, I should be getting banned for watching Mark Rutte speak about Donald Trump, like without wiping the cum out of the side of his mouth. You know what I mean? Like, like this is functionally no different than listening to Mark Rutte speak while still gargling in the back of his throat Trump's semen. Okay. He's like, oh, well, yes, of course I called him daddy. Of course, he is daddy. Like, is that Mark Rober? Yeah, Mark Rober is making analysis about the fucking people bootlicking law enforcement. You wouldn't talk this way to Bob? Yeah, because we're amongst ourselves, okay? They just arrested the woke farmer and White House posted it. What is this statement, man? They just arrested the woke farmer? What? I mean, I don't disbelieve you. I feel like that's a thing that could happen. I don't know who the woke farmer is, but was he farming too much woke? The woke farmer was crime maxing and he got. Okay, you joke, but we are literally a week out from the Department of Homeland Security posting exactly that. Okay? Like The woke farmer was apprehended earlier today for crime maxing is something that I can see the fucking Department of Homeland Security post or the White House posting that.
Very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember.
And Denmark making it clear this morning they're willing to negotiate on all political matters, from the economy to security, but they say they will not negotiate when it comes to their sovereignty. This morning, the president met with his proposed board of peace to map out the future of Gaza. It is notable just how few European allies are sitting on that board, given all of these tensions happening abroad. And the president also plans to meet with President Zelensky of Ukraine this morning as well. Robin.
All right, Rachel, thank you for your reporting. Now to another big event for President Trump at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. This morning, he launched his so-called Board of Peace. It's designed to oversee Gaza. The president also tried to calm the concerns of NATO allies over his demand to take control of Greenland. He says they sorted out a framework of a future deal, his words. Ed O'Keefe is in Davos watching all of this for us. Ed, good morning. What is the latest?
Well, good morning. You know, after weeks of focus on Greenland, the president is spending his final hours overseas today focused on the two biggest foreign policy challenges that he faces. He's meeting with Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky, telling reporters he wants to get that done, the war between Ukraine and Russia. And as you said, he's launching what he calls the Board of Peace to help rebuild the Gaza Strip. But notably, there were several close American allies who didn't show up.
You're the biggest people, the most important people in the world.
Davos was the place President Trump officially launched his Board of Peace, a new body to help resolve the conflict in Gaza. On the list, more than a dozen nations, including Saudi Arabia and
Board
NATO
of peace? Yeah, I'm bored of peace. Let's do more war. That's what I'd be like.
ally Turkey. But notably absent today, several close American allies like France, the United Kingdom, and Israel. The president has previously said the board could replace some duties of the United Nations.
But there's tremendous potential.
Board of peace. Board of peace with Hitler, Mussolini. Like pepper in some former historic fascist figures as well. You know, you got some contemporary ones in there. Benjamin Netanyahu's on it.
The United.
Here, if you want to understand how fucking stupid this concept is, Benjamin Netanyahu is a criminal, right? He's a war criminal. The ICC has already delivered a warrant out for his arrest, which is precisely the reason why he was not able to attend the Board of Peace summit that was taking place in Switzerland, because the Swiss government said if Benjamin Netanyahu were to actually come on Swiss soil, they would arrest him. So he actually couldn't even attend the Board of Peace summit. That's how fucking stupid this process is.
Nations, and I think the combination of the Board of Peace with the kind of people we have here, coupled with the United Nations, can be something very, very unique for the world.
But it was Trump's threats to take over Greenland that dominated discussions at Davos.
You coming to Murderapolis tomorrow, right? Yes. Murderapolis. I will be inside of you tomorrow. I'm coming to Somaliapolis tomorrow. I'm going to Murderapolis tomorrow. It's going to be fucking minus 50 degrees or some shit. I don't even know how I'm going to deal with that. I got we had to order a bunch of thermal gear. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be icy, dude. Yeah, I got mass security too. Armed security, as a matter of fact. Don't even try nothing. It's going to be minus 45 wind chill tomorrow. Yeah. The march is short, and I think the rally is inside. We're getting 1.5 feet snow in OKC, Lamau. Yeah, I got layers on layers on layers. I was watching a video from Ulaanbaatar about how they layer up. I was watching a video from the coldest point in Russia. You know how when there's a place in Russia where you go outside and your eyebrows freeze off, and what kind of layering they do in order to make it to make it out there alive in the Siberian tundra. Bro, it's so fucking cold. They're warning that the trees might explode. What does that even mean? That your batteries are going to last a lot less too? Yeah, I'm actually a little worried about that. Do you have battery warmers for the IRL kit? The batteries are going to be reduced capacity in extreme cold. I just assumed that the machine itself it runs hot, so the cooling will actually help it, it's a data center built in Greenland. You know what I mean? The water freezes inside the tree and expands and explodes trees. Do you have attachable cleats for traction on ice? They're pretty cheap and 100% worth it. I don't. Your cam is going to last 30 minutes. Okay, I didn't think about that. I've been thinking about that, but I don't know what to do. Wait, are you going out there this weekend? Get some wool socks from Costco? I got a bunch of shit. Your phone will die so fast in sub-zero temps. You actually might die for real just from the cold. Minnesota cold is different, bro. I know. I'm more worried about the fucking cold than I am of, like, you know, some psycho trying to fucking ice me. Use Vaseline on any exposed skin. Remember to do short steps on icy ground. One bad fall can fuck you up. You're going to need 10-toe warmers in your shoe. Just buy some hand warmers and you'll be good with the batteries. Ulaanbaatar is in Mongolia, though, motherfucker. I know. I was saying I looked at Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia to see how they fucking layer up. I looked at that, like, the coldest place in Siberia, because this lady, remember we watched a fucking video from a lady who lives in, like, the coldest point in Russia, and how, like, when she tries to do vlogs, when she goes outside, her camera dies immediately. It's, like, hard to fucking even have the camera running for an extended period of time. I don't know how we're going to do that. People making it sound like you're going to Antarctica. Yes, because we are going to Antarctica. It's minus 50 with wind chills. They are doing an exploding, dude. Exploding trees are possible in the Midwest and northern plains on Friday and Saturday as temperatures are forecast to fall 20 degrees below zero. Do you understand how fucking nutty that shit is, bro? Dry socks. Never walk around without having dry socks. Very important. You might not believe it. Make Kaya the camera woman, strap it to her. Kaya's not coming with me to fucking Minneapolis. He basically is. I don't think chat knows what it's like up there. I'm in northern Iowa. I'm afraid of Minnesota weather. Yeah. Trees don't explode in the cold. Mythbusters proved it. Shut up, nerd. In Canada, you're not allowed to work for more than a couple hours in that weather. Be careful. I wonder how Kaya, I actually do wonder how Kaya would react in you know, weather like that. Like, is she acclimated? Is she a California girly like her dad? You know what I mean? Would she love it? I mean, she always wants to be outside. Like, I'll be watching anime after the stream, and she will paw at the door to try to open it to go outside. And it's not like cold outside, but it's like colder, right? It's like 60 degrees, minus 60, maybe 50 degrees. Look at this thing. Little baby. Little Baba. I bet she's dreaming about the tundra. She doesn't even know what it is. She's never seen snow, but she's dreaming about it. She's dreaming about something that she has never seen before. The song Google Betraying You. What? Why are Turks afraid of the cold? That's what you Googled? Turkish people do not afraid of cold any more than other nations, especially fishers. The weather is but cold enough, which is bad for fishing. Haha, this is a good, hilarious observation as a Turkish person. That's crazy that you Googled that shit. It's a lie. Google is a İngiliz uşağı, a British, a servant of the British Empire. For putting out slander such as this. How dare you?
This week, and now
we have a concept of a deal. I think it's going to be a very good deal for the United States, also for them. And we're going to work together on something having to do with the Arctic as a whole, but also Greenland, and it has to do with the security, great security, strong security, and other things.
The president said the breakthrough came after a meeting with the head of NATO, posting he will not be imposing the tariffs on Denmark, which controls the island, and 7...
Lenin did it in the Russian winter 110 years ago. You are a certified Menshevik fraud. If you can't take it, sorry, man. Oh, that's funny. Okay, that actually, you're right. You're right. And Lenin was bald. Lenin, he was bald as fuck, so he got more exposure up there too, you know what I mean?
And other European nations. He also vowed not to use the military to capture Greenland.
I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force.
But he attacked NATO allies as unreliable partners.
We want strong allies, not seriously weakened ones.
North Carolina Republican Senator Tom Tillis called the president's rhetoric on Greenland a false crisis.
The fact that the president says U.S. military involvement in taking Greenland is off the table, does that ease your concerns?
No, because it was never on the table. I mean, that's a false concession. If anybody thinks that the U.S. Congress would have stood for any sort of...
Yeah, no, you guys definitely would have launched a strong opposition against Donald Trump if he saw it fit. Sure. Surely. Nobody thinks of the U.S. Congress at all, big dog. Okay? You're not even running. You have the freedom to say whatever the fuck you want, and you're still cucked, which leads me to believe that U.S. Congress ain't doing shit. U.S. Congress would never stand for this, I say. Yeah, okay, sure.
troops move to Greenland, I believe we'd have veto-proof majorities within.
Congress has been very vocal against this, to be fair. It don't matter. They were vocal against U.S. aid as well, and the only way that they fucking clawed it back was through the Supreme Court. They have no motion. Congress is effectively neutered. The legislative body in this country is straight up neutered. The stock market is the only other branch of the government, is right. Okay? The only thing we have seen that Trump responds to is the stock market. And it allows him to do whatever the fuck he wants to. Like, he can, if the stock market doesn't actually respond negatively to, I don't know, arresting and prosecuting and maybe even killing Jerome Powell for not fucking lowering interest rates, if the stock market doesn't fucking respond negatively to it, he'll do it. He'll do whatever the fuck he wants to. And considering that we are in unprecedented times with money being more fake than it ever has been, the only option you have is to try to punish the bond market or try to punish the stock market. Yeah, the separation of powers between the bond market and the stock market, those are the only two branches outside of the federal government. I also don't like the Taco Trump thing about Greenland. It's objectively a good thing that he's not, leaning further into, military incursion into Greenland.
2 weeks.
While Democrats in the crowd, like Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, said even though Trump's backed off his threats, they damaged relationships.
The president's speech was dangerous, disrespectful, and unhinged. We are less safe when people believe that the United States isn't committed to the NATO alliance.
It's all left Europe frustrated. The German chancellor urged unity during what he called a new era of politics.
We have entered a time of great power politics. Today, its very foundations have been shaken.
Now on Greenland, 2 diplomatic sources tell CBS News there is no agreement for U.S. control of ownership in that framework, ownership of Greenland, despite the president saying that he's set up an infinite deal or is working towards an infinite deal. The White House and State Department have not yet provided details on what exactly is in this framework. And this morning, Denmark's prime minister welcomed the president saying he's not going to use military force to take Greenland, but he reiterated we can negotiate on everything political, security, investments, economy, but we cannot negotiate on our sovereignty. In other words,
I'm telling you right now, first of all, this deal is not done. We don't know what it actually is going to totally look like at the end of the day. But it basically, to me, it feels like this back and forth, this chaos, treating our European vassals as the vassals like they are. All of that was mostly just the flex. Because, ultimately what they're giving him is a little bit more sovereignty over the military bases that he has already. And there are versions of this in play already, like with the British bases in Cyprus that are technically considered British soil, right? Like there is no, there is the deal itself is not that different, right? The deal itself is not that different from the previous deal, which is that Denmark is a NATO country and therefore Greenland is a part of Denmark and therefore a part of America. As excited as I am to have you come up to Minneapolis tomorrow, it probably doesn't bode well for the likelihood of you moving here, lol. Yeah, that's probably not happening anytime soon, let's be real. Asmongold pulled you up in his chat right now. Oh, no, dude, what will I do? Oh, no, dude. Oh, no, the Roach Man. He can't talk too much about this Greenland stuff, so he's got to fucking talk about how Bro, Asmongold pulled you up now. Oh, no. How about he pull up some WikiHows on how to fucking wash his ass, dude?
As far as they're concerned, Gail, the U.S. will never control Greenland.
Yeah, Ed, before you go, let's do a little deeper dive on this because the president arrived, he brought lots of...
When I was in poli-sci class at college, I learned that 95% of NATO was made up of U.S. military. NATO is a protection racket for the American military-industrial complex. That's what it is. They're not going to teach you that in a fucking poli-sci class, obviously, because one of those things, rent free in your head. Brother, you can't say rent free in your head when you're like a fan of Asmongold who's coming in here to tell me that he is covering me right now. Like, that's not how this works. You brought him up. You came here, you brought him up. I laughed it off, and now you're like, oh, rent free, dude. Why do you live rent free in Hassan's head in Asmongold's chat? And then he comes in here and he goes, oh, rent free, dude. This is. It's impossible to deal with people this stupid, okay? You just can't. You just have to laugh. There's nothing you can do. No, he goes in there. He goes in there to say, oh, Hassan is always thinking about you. He's always talking about you. Why do you live rent-free? And Hassan says, and then he comes here and he goes, oh, dude, Asmongold lives rent-free in your head. Brother, the only person whose head I'm living in rent-free is your head. And let me tell you, okay, that shit's like a fucking duplex, empty though, okay? Ain't no furniture up in this bitch. I can hear the echo of my own voice because it's empty, except for just me, apparently. I am the only occupant, the sole occupant inside of your otherwise empty mind. I think these guys are harder to deal with than Bob is. You know what I mean? Hassan loves dogs. He talks about me every day in his chat, it seems. You're falling off and crashing out, and you're crashing out because you're falling off every Asmon chatter. I know. Hassan, stop falling for this low effort bait. I mean, every now and then I'll entertain it because it's funny.
Threats, lots of tension, got everybody all riled up. But he's leaving, it seems, some say, without much to show in regards especially to Greenland. Was this trip a success for him? What happened?
If the ultimate long-term goal is to ensure that NATO and the United States are guarding the Arctic Circle, that region, more closely, more carefully, putting more resources there, then the White House is going to argue they are on the verge of achieving that goal, because you've already seen NATO members send more troops just in recent days, and now there's going to be this talk about coming up with some new framework that expands that partnership. But he didn't leave with an agreement to take over the island entirely. There will be no U.S. military force, and Europe is quite upset with him. So, in essence, he didn't get necessarily what he wants, and he upset a lot of American allies.
Good afternoon. This is a perfect Trump move, okay? A perfect Trump move. He fucks things up irreparably, causes instability, and at the end of that process, he gets nothing out of it that he wouldn't have gotten if he went through the normal process and did not offend every fucking European leader. Art of the deal, another Trump classic. It's like the same as the tariffs. I'm doing tariffs. Everyone's like, oh, this is going to be American Prosperity Liberation Day. He's like, I'm taking the tariffs off. He's like, oh, art of the deal. You didn't win anything in the process. You did not win anything in the process. You lost in the process. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. The initial construct that European vassal states exist under is already American domination. These guys basically spent the last couple of days begging to not be embarrassed, right? Saying like, listen, Mr. President, we have to go back to our own territory. We have to go back to our own countries, and we have to deal with our own people. Like, you're making us look like fucking fools. That was the real problem here for them. We would have given you any amount of Greenland sovereignty, any amount of Greenland space that you need, because you already own Greenland. You own Denmark, you own Greenland. These are NATO allies. You can just put a military base there. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Why do you have to embarrass us in the process? No, it definitely was not what they said. No, dude, I'm saying read between the fucking lines. That's what they are actually saying. They did say that. They kept repeating over and over again. What are you talking about? Denmark is a NATO ally. What do you think that means? What are you talking about? You had military bases on Greenland. You could have more military bases on Greenland. Why are you doing this? I did. Trump was shitting himself. Is this the cope from the Europeans? Is that what the new meta is? That they're like, they were able to, did you even watch his speech? What? He was vacant, dude? Yeah, that's insult to injury. People are saying Rutte, the man who called Trump daddy, who defended him at every single public moment he possibly could, with Trump's semen gargling in the back of his fucking throat. He actually tamed Trump. That's what people are saying. The meta is that EU forced Trump to back down. Oh my God. I mean, sure, whatever floats your boat, man. Twitch chatter here. I felt a bad aura from Trump being in our country. Need him deported ASAP. KW. I see multiple libs stating that he tamed Trump. Like, do they think because Rutte gave him the best blowjob of his life, like better than Laura Loomer ever could, and then he got like kind of tired after that, you know, because he nutted? Is that what people are? Is that the assessment here? Or that he nutted and Rutte kept sucking, and that's how he was able to manipulate Trump's body? He was like, oh, Rutte, please stop. No more. I came already, Rutte. And Rutte was like, no, daddy. No. I will keep going. Is that what happened? Rutte, you have so much stamina. You are a free spirit. I have to stand up for 3 hours later. Rutte, please stop. Until I see some motion, more even from like the likes of Mark Carney and many others, until I see some like serious motion, serious attempts at decoupling, serious attempts at like developing sovereignty from European leadership, I am not going to believe that this was a successful punishment for Donald Trump. Okay? It's because the deal he discussed with Rutte is effectively what the U.S. already has. The mining thing is a myth, per Greenland's prime minister. That's what I mean. He didn't get like anything additional, but he could have gotten this deal without doing any of this shit. Okay? He already had this deal. That's my point. My point is he already had this deal because of NATO. This deal has been around since 1951, chatters. Okay? Plus, he hasn't even gotten anything yet. We don't know what the actual deal is going to look like. But exclusive on Bloomberg from Alex Wickham, UK political editor for Bloomberg, says changes to the 1951 treaty to guarantee U.S.-based requirements, strengthen NATO role in the Arctic high north security, will include a multinational NATO command in Greenland under U.S. command, an economic component to be negotiated, including mining rights, measures to stop Russian and Chinese economic and military presence on Greenland. The U.S. stops threatening tariffs on Europe. So before Donald Trump turned around and said, I'm going to take over Greenland with my military, you're going to give me all of it, there was virtually no difference. This is literally the same fucking deal. This is the same deal. My point, I think it's difficult for people to comprehend what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is these are already vassal states, okay? Denmark is a vassal. Every NATO country is already under the protection racket of the American military industrial complex, and therefore these kinds of deals would be achieved without Donald Trump coming out and being like, I'm gonna fuck Greenland. Greenland is mine. I'm gonna molest it. It's my country to molest now. Okay. Yeah, but now China is mentioned. Yeah, how much you want to bet the Australian companies that like engage in mineral extraction in Greenland in the brief period of time where you can even do such a thing under the fucking icy tundra are still going to continue operating with the same Australian companies that have like what 9% Chinese ownership? They're going to still probably continue to operate in extraction in Greenland. So that's not going to change. Just like Venezuelan oil, if China still wants to purchase Venezuelan oil, will still go to China. You don't get it. Trump didn't make that deal, so it was bad. So he made a new one that looks exactly the same one that is good. I know, but this is when liberals basically behave in the same exact way that like Republicans behave. Like, remember when I was talking to Bob yesterday and I detailed out the JCPOA, but this time when Trump is doing it, it was good. Bob was like, oh, I love that deal. Oh, sanctions. We are down to remove sanctions on Iran as long as we get assurances that they will not have nuclear arms. It's literally the same fucking deal that Obama put together. And liberals should be above this. Liberals should be above posturing with like pure anti-Trump sentiment. But in some ways, they do the exact same thing on the other side, right? And because Trump is wrong 99% of the time, you will usually be on the right side of an argument. But the reality of the matter is, this deal is the same as the deal that already existed, which is a deal where America already has dominance over Greenland. That's why people are saying Rutte was successful. They were supposedly able to get Trump to basically accept the status quo by sucking him off enough that he thought it was his own idea. A lot of diplomatic approaches to Trump is just flatter him, and it seems to work to an extent. Yeah, but my problem with this is Trump's instability here should cause European leadership to recognize that the previous mechanisms of control, the liberal world order, post-World War II world order, has basically created this system where European countries are vassals, okay? And therefore, they have no control over this process. So, like, sucking off Donald Trump is only, like, sucking off Donald Trump hard enough that you go back to, like, the previous formation where you're a happy vassal rather than an angry slave is not actually going to change the dynamic at all. You're still fucked. You're still getting fucked. Okay? Earlier, when you had 31K live viewers, Asman had 41K. Now you're sitting at 36,000 and he's sitting at 46,000. I know. It's because he's 10,000 viewer better than me in his commentary. I know. It is a weird predicament. I am aware. It's always 10K above. I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's normal. Okay? They're noticing? Yeah, I know. They keep saying it over and over again. I wonder what it is. He's generally 10 to 15% more entertaining than you. I agree. That's what I think too. And entertainment value, like saying, yeah, based over and over again, whenever Trump says something or does something, is actually 10% more entertaining than actually trying to address what Trump is trying to do, what the next steps might look like, why this is bad for other countries, where we're headed. I agree. In any case, let's continue. Mass panic yesterday when your banger MAGA segment brought the difference down to 3K. Were the roaches crawling around? You need to move your eyebrows more when you lie. Yeah, this is the classic Trump too. He did the same exact thing with NAFTA and the USMCA. It's virtually the same, but it has a new name, so now it's patriotic and based, while before it was lib and cringe. Yeah, Trump does this shit all the time. New shine, same old bullshit. Okay? You bid on a placement relative to competitors for a search term, so you can always have XX percentage more exposure than a competitor. Anyway, let's continue before we get back to Murderapolis, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Elon Musk gave a speech. I was listening to pieces of it earlier. Elon Musk jokes about Greenland push during surprise appearance at Davos. Good
afternoon, everyone. It's great to see everybody here. It's been an amazing week here in Davos. Hopefully everybody saw that we are having conversations here. Hopefully everybody agrees. There are some conversations that we may disagree. There's many conversations that we may have agreed, but through those conversations, and I think today's result with a peace agreement earlier today, the World Economic Forum is here to have those conversations, to have understandings, and also resolution. So it's an important component of who we and what we are, and I'm thrilled to have Elon Musk here.
Hassan couldn't take Musk 1v1. You know, it's another thing that like liberals do that Trump. Another thing that liberals do that's like kind of similar to the pro-Trump side of things, where like MAGA will say, "Oh, Trump is actually doing a great job because he's demanding 5% of like European countries' GDP to be put back into arms sales." All right, and like liberals will get mad at that because Trump is doing it. Meanwhile, Barack Obama also had a similar policy, and Joe Biden actually carried over Trump's previous policies of holding European countries to account on the NATO side of things. So like, you either have a pro-NATO position and you like it when Trump is doing it and you like it when Obama's doing it, or you have an anti-NATO position like I do, and you don't like it when either party is doing it. This is the fucking issue. Hassan, you got to start charging TikTokers for your jokes.
Ice, you messed with the wrong guy. Step up, Ice. Step up. It's gonna get really bad. It's gonna get really bad for you. I would not want to be you right now. You're in some deep shit, buddy. You're gonna get some trouble. I'm gonna count to 5. 1, 2. Get out of here. Get out of here. 2.5, 3. Time out. Time out, Ice. I'm a pushover. I don't have a spine. Well, no one likes you.
It's true.
No.
Wow, blistering.
He came all the way from California to be here to see all of you. So thank you, Elon.
You're most welcome. I mean, I heard about the formation of the Peace Summit, and I was like, is that PIEC? You know, a little piece of Greenland, a little piece of Venezuela.
we got one.
Oh my God, dude. Bro, I swear to God, I think he should go to jail just for that. I'm not kidding. Like, I think he should be in prison for just that joke. Like, not any of the other stuff. Like, I think his assets should be stripped of him. I think the government should take complete control over all of his assets, and they should put him in jail for that joke. He's jester maxing? Yeah. Elon Musk. I learned that jester maxing is now much better than doing the stiff arm approach. Yeah, I love clavicular. Damn, no wonder Grimes was fucking looking at you like prime rib. This shit's rotten. I don't think that's not, you know, that's not what happened. Okay, come on, calm down. Oh God, it is rotten though. This shit is rotten.
All we want is peace.
Okay, I'm going to, as I said, I'm a pretty proud CEO of BlackRock since we went public. The compounding return of BlackRock to our shareholders was 21%. Since Elon took Tesla public, his compounded return is 43%. This is just another advertisement for everybody, especially for Europeans. This is why more citizens should be investing with growth, investing with their countries. Imagine if a lot of pension funds invested with Elon when...
This wins the internet today. These people rule our planet, okay? If you cannot comprehend that meritocracy is a lie by just looking at the existence of Elon Musk, the wealthiest person on the planet, potentially the first trillionaire on the planet, nothing is going to cause you to understand the reality, okay? You will never see the truth. That's like, this is the insult to injury, okay? The injury is the existence of billionaires, but the insult is that they get to live amongst us and also behave like this and win favor with the fucking crowd, okay? There are people out there who have reduced themselves, who have debased themselves so thoroughly that they do not see themselves as human beings, but just mere barely sentient organisms that play a role in defending and propping up this fucking system and the billionaires that represent all of the excesses, the gross excesses of this unjust system that we exist under. It is crazy. It is crazy how much these motherfuckers cheerlead people like Elon Musk. I cannot deal with it, man. How do you have no self-respect? Oh, now that gold is over 4K, I'm gonna have this sigh. It's Mansa Musa of Timbuktu. If we take into account inflation, lol. How many will call this out? Why is a rabbi on the World Economic Forum stage referring to white people as the old Europeans?
Especially in Germany, you are facing a rise of anti-Semitism, but we are facing this all over the world. So I would like to hear what is your perspective on this.
Oh, he's signaling. It's like my favorite thing to watch is like the white identitarians constantly talk about how like Jews are actually waging war against the whites. Okay. I love watching it because on the one hand, it's like, the fuck do you mean white identitarians? Like what, like, do you have sovereignty as a nation state or not? Like there is no like ethnic allegiance amongst all whites. Okay. There's never been a fucking period of time in history where white people have actually united. Okay. White people have been killing each other for hundreds of fucking years. Okay. I'm not even going to link that trademark Elon tweet this time. Megaphonics, you want to link it so fucking bad. Look at him. Look at him in the chat. Look at him in the chat. He wants to link it so bad. Chatter of the year, by the way. Low Kirk, there's nothing that you do that is low Kirkuency, okay? They united to enslave and exploit Africa. Yeah, even then they were fighting amongst one another, though. That's what I'm saying. Even then they were fighting. There's never been a moment where these motherfuckers haven't stopped fighting. Like the notion of like a united white front is ridiculous. And even then you have to ask like which kinds of white? Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but it brought them closer. True. Yeah, there is no common white identity. There's never been a common white identity historically. It doesn't exist. It's so fucking stupid. The only place where you can arrive at something close to that is the United States of America. And even then, like, our races don't even know how to do racism right. It's on autopilot. White supremacy is on autopilot here. There is no disciplined white supremacist movement or organizing in this country beyond like some of these different fucking formations. But most racist whites in the United States of America will just be like, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I like the racism component. I think it's all right, you know, but I like my treats a lot more than I care about fucking defending white supremacy. Don't encourage them. I'm not even encouraging them. It's just like not true. They're in ICE, brother. Most of ICE is black and brown. Okay. They are militants for a white nativist anti-immigrant agenda. But like that in and of itself is ironically the point I'm making. Like it's the most, fascism requires organizational discipline. Fascism requires ideological discipline. Fascism requires reading. Most Americans are too stupid to engage in it. Okay. That's it. Not to say that fascists in Europe aren't stupid. They are. Just our version of that is never as disciplined as it could be. Okay. It's on autopilot. The expressions of fascism in America is on autopilot. Okay, it's just happening in the background at all at different points throughout time. On any given day, there is an expression of fascism in the form of white supremacy that exists, that is baked into our all of our institutions, right? But it's not something that is like rigorously trained. It's not something that people are constantly fucking thinking about or reinforcing. It's a very different version of racism and fascism, and even then, it's the closest that you can get to like a black-white identitarian movement. Okay, and even then, it's kind of fucking dumb to be like, oh yeah, we're all a part of the united white race.
The 7th of October has created turbulence in the whole world, a tremendous rise of anti-Semitism, organized, state-sponsored, in many instances, in universities, on the streets, and a rise of 500%, maybe some instances to 1,000% of anti-Semitic acts. And there has also been a reaction of Europe. I think the rise of the extreme right in many European countries is a response to the insecurity felt by the old Europeans, so-called old Europeans, regarding the new immigrants who came from the Middle East. So I think that fighting Islamophobia and anti-Semitism is an interest of both religions and both communities, and when we do it together, it's going to be much more useful. We have created, under also the Saudi umbrella, more than 10 years ago, the Muslim Jewish Leadership Council, and which was successful. And we believe that we have to go this way if we want to make sure that every European can live in peace and walk in peace in the streets.
This is the president of the Conference of European Rabbis talking about the old Europeans.
What is happening? What's the fucking issue here? I don't even understand. Like, what is this Nazi chirping about? And why is Elon Musk responding to this fucking guy? Guys, I hate Israel. Everybody knows I hate Israel. It's the reason why I'm considered the #1 op. These guys yelled more about me being anti-Semitic than actual anti-Semites with regular frequency. But I just don't even understand what the fuck these Nazis are complaining about. Like all the goddamn time. It's like, oh, they said it's the old Europeans. They're calling the whites old. Oh, they are replacing. It's a white replacement. They are doing a white replacement. It's like, shut the fuck up, bro. Shut up. Shut up. Nothing that dude said was actually offensive beyond the fact that he basically said October 7 is the reason why there is a systemic Jew hatred that is happening everywhere. And it's not because of Israel's constantly fucking doing unlimited violence to others while also masquerading as the fucking single-handed North Star of an entire people and their religion, okay? Doing everything, doing the very same thing as the fucking Nazis did to the Jews and others as well, but masquerading it as like a religious conflict or masquerading it as like doing it at the behest of religion. Yeah, that is the reason why there's a fuck ton of backlash. Hamas Piker, revolting person. Yeah, no, that person was memeing about what Jonathan Greenblatt calls me. Anyway, it's just, I can't believe that fucking Elon Musk would like reply to, I mean, I can believe it. What am I talking about? Of course, unacceptable thing for him to say. Unacceptable. Even his like Nazi shit is kind of fake too. On the one, it's like, it reminds me of JD Vance. You know what I mean? JD Vance's wife is Indian. His kids are Indian. New one on the way, by the way. Congratulations. And he always has to be like, yeah, I hate my Indian wife who's going to go to hell because she's not Christian. Right? Am I cool, guys? Am I base? It's like, bro, what are you talking about? And even with the same thing with Elon Musk, he's like, on the one hand, he's like, I love the Nazis. I love the white identitarian movement. Yeah, based. Oh, it's so good. It's so cool. Oh, it's so based. I hate when Jews are saying things about white people. I hate it. But it's like at the same time, he's like the #1 dick rider of Israel. So I feel like all of this stuff is just fake. You know, they're all fucking fake demons. All of them. And as long as you're pro-Israel, it don't matter. You can say whatever the fuck you want. You can Sig Heil twice on the podium on the day of the inauguration, and, you know, no one is going to get mad at you, really, because at least you're performatively protecting the whites. Yeah.
Tesla went public.
Well, I mean, yesterday we saw with Bob that you can think Jews in Israel control the world, but also love Israel and all that it does. Yeah, that was crazy. I thought I would have got him on that one, but nope. He stood firmly. He was like, you know what I hate more than, he's like, you know what I hate more than Jews? Muslims. Like that was truly the like, I thought I hit the wall on that one. You know what I mean? Like the logical limit. I thought we were limit breaking. I thought that was going to be a moment where he was like, you know what? I'll give that to you. Nope. You reminded him of his days in the Crusades. That was pretty fucking wild.
And how much we return with all the pension funds that invested side by side.
I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years, but the rate at which AI is progressing.
I truly don't understand how you can be the wealthiest person on the planet, clearly care about the way you look, and still fail so spectacularly. Like, you're still fat as fuck. You still have this like crazy barrel chest. I don't even know how you fix that, to be honest. And your hairline is receding once again. How is this possible? You're the wealthiest person on the fucking planet. How is this possible? Not to get all clavicular up in your ass, but I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand it. Like, you either don't give a shit and you're, goated like Gaben, right? Gaben is free. He doesn't care, right? He's awesome. He looks cool. And you just like kind of lean into it. Or you give a shit and you do what you need to do to Mog. Like fucking, what's his face? Like Mark Zuckerberg. You get hit with the Dominican ray like Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos. Elon Musk gives a shit, gives far too much of a shit, as a matter of fact, while simultaneously looking like shit. How is that possible?
We might have AI that is smarter than any human by the end of this year, and I would say no later than next year. Wow. And then probably by 2030 or 2031, call it 5 years from now, AI will be smarter than all of humanity collectively.
Oh, no, it won't. Oh my God, shut the fuck up. These guys, everyone that is invested in AI has to fucking constantly talk about how AI is going to save the world, but it's also so powerful that it's going to delete the world. And please give us another $1 trillion, please. That's all these motherfuckers are doing. Meanwhile, you can't have RAM, you can't have GPUs. Sucks to suck. Your electricity bill is going to fucking triple. And that's it. This man has never been correct on any prediction that he's ever made, ever. Okay? He is a known fabulist. He is a known charlatan. And it doesn't even fucking matter because the stock market is fake. It's the most fake it's ever been. And it will continue to be fake. It will get even faker. AI is not smart. It's not intelligent. It's the accumulation of human content. It has biased shit in its corruptive data. Lots of issues. Really, Elon's a dumbass. He's not an inventor. He's an investor. I know. I just don't. You should say you're all in on Doge so that he'll have to self-destruct. I guess the only reason why AI will be smarter than the average person is because the average person is getting dumber and dumber in America. Partially because they're relying heavily on AI. It's a never-ending cycle of getting dumber and dumber. Thank you. I just, like, Like generative AI is the least important and most dirty component of all of these AI initiatives. And the only reason why they lean heavily into generative AI is because it's the one that is the most accessible to the fucking normies. The dumbest normies, specifically. LLMs and generative AI is straight up the dumbest version of fucking AI. There is utilization for AI. A lot of smart people are utilizing AI already. We've talked about it. We've talked about it with respect to, like, you know, what they're doing in the field of medicine, and you know, running tests on all these different, like, chemical compounds, things like that. AI, the most, protein folding, shit like that. That's all great. But AI in the you know, majority use case is just like generative AI and LLMs, and they're dog shit. They're very stupid. They're engaging. They're making people engage in cognitive offloading. It's making them dumber and more reliant on an inconsistent chatbot that could potentially tell them fake shit very confidently. I mean, I even saw Ryan Grimm fall for it. You know, it happens. You could be smart. You could be a great journalist, and you can still kind of fall for it, especially when you have a bias to believe that there is, it's feeding you information that you think is reliable. What I'm referring to, of course, is like the grok thing that a lot of these accounts have been doing about, like, whether or not AI or whether or not Twitter is actually lowering their, you know, like boosting certain accounts in the algorithm on Twitter, or if Twitter is actually deboosting their account so that it's not as visible. Grok does not have access to this kind of information. Like, it can't give you lines of code that shows you how Twitter is deboosting you in the algorithm. Like, that kind of stuff is dumb. It's just like, and people still believe it, no matter how smart they are, especially if they're biased in a particular direction. Jeff Bezos advises aspiring Gen Z entrepreneurs to start at the real world jobs like McDonald's or Palantir before starting a business. Nope, not sure why Polymarket made this up. Jeff Bezos, my Dominican king, replied to Polymarket. That's my boss, guys. I'm a company man through and through. Lauren Sanchez even said your name one time. That was before your ban? Wait, what? No, that's not real. You just made that up, right? I meant in the bedroom. Oh, dude. Jesus Christ. I believed it for a second. Did you see Jeff at the holiday party? Bitch, I'm not invited to those holiday parties. And even if I was, I would not go. Come on. I am very happy with Jeff Bezos never knowing who I am. I already have a sneaking suspicion that he might know who I am, and I don't want him to know who I am. Do you understand? I have been perceived by Elon Musk already far too many times, and I don't like it. Okay? Elon Musk was tagging Jeff Bezos on Twitter to get him to ban me on Twitch, and that was not a fun time for me. Okay? If anything, I hope he never finds out who I am, or if he does, I hope he at least appreciates my existence due to our mutual distaste of Elon Musk. That's what I will lean into if push comes to shove. You know what I mean? I'd be like, Daddy Jeff Bezos, please do not laser me. Please do not chop my body up into fucking different bits and pieces with your private military contractors and then send me into space, because Elon Musk, a man that you hate, hates me just as much as he hates you. Just don't get his wife on stream. Oh, his ex-wife is more likely. Let's be real. His ex-wife is more likely to come on stream, or at least, like, you know, fund some initiative that I'm involved in. But I will never let that happen, because, like I said, it is much better to not be perceived by these people, okay?
Aliens among us. And I'll say that I am one, but...
Or you're from the future.
They don't believe me.
Okay.
So I think if anyone would know if there are aliens among us, it would be me. We have 9,000 satellites up there, and not once have we had to maneuver around an alien spaceship. So I'm like, I don't know. Bottom line is, I think we need to assume that life and consciousness is extremely rare, and it might only be us. And if that's the case, then we need to do everything possible to ensure that the light of consciousness is not extinguished, because we're effectively, the way I view it is, the image in my mind is of a tiny candle in a vast darkness, a tiny candle.
You and I reverse aging in this new history, or are we going to see it?
I haven't.
Dude, he's the biggest charlatan. I swear to God, if he says it is possible to reverse aging, I'm betting on the opposite of that. He has never had a correct prediction, and he has never said the truth about the technological innovation that's coming out of any of his companies. This is a man who, I believe, 15 years ago said, in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to occupy Mars. We're going to colonize Mars. Okay? When she and Putin are talking about living to 150 years and how it's actually possible, I'll believe it. If Elon Musk says it, well, kind of makes me reverse my position on the whole thing, okay?
I haven't put much time into the aging stuff. I do think it is a very solvable problem. Like you can, I think when we find,
yeah, the very solvable problem. It's like the number one thing that every wealthy and powerful person has tried to fucking combat since the beginning of time. Anyone with a modicum of power has tried to literally combat this. He's like, oh, it's just very solvable. Yeah.
Figure out what causes aging. I think we'll find it's incredibly obvious. It's not a subtle thing. The reason I say it's not a subtle thing is because all the cells in your body, with some pretty much age at the same rate. I've never seen someone with an old left arm and a young right arm ever in my life. So why is that? That means that there must be a clock, a synchronizing clock, that is synchronizing across 35 trillion cells in your body. There is some benefit to death, by the way. It's like there's a reason why we don't actually have a longer lifespan, because if people do live forever for a very long time, I think there's some risk of an ossification of society, of things just getting kind of locked in place, and it just may become stultifying, just not lack vibrancy. But that said, do I think?
Yes, dude. Yes, you are such a non-human that he can't even fucking say death is what makes life worth living, because it's finite that you're supposed to enjoy it. If it's infinite, then obviously humanity and what drives us changes, and it alters everything. But no, he can't even fucking say that. He has to be like, oh, it's we'll ossify. There's ossifying. He's a ketamine abuser. I don't know.
I think we'll figure out ways to extend life and maybe even reverse aging. I think that's highly likely.
This is what happens when you don't ever read a book or never ponder the meaning of existence, okay? You don't ever read a book. You don't have a moment to yourself where you're just like trapped in your own mind thinking about why things happen. This is what happens. Open Presents with another 100 gifted subs. I don't know what the hell's going on. Open Presents is showering me together today. Kai Cenat speaks better, bruh. Yeah, because Kai Cenat actually is reading books now, unlike Elon Musk, who has never read.
Mr. President, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you.
You have talked about this framework, the beginning of a framework that you've spoken with the NATO secretary about. Can you tell us anything about that? Does this ultimately mean that the U.S. will ultimately acquire Greenland?
Well, I don't know if I can say that, but it could be. I mean, it's possible. Anything's possible. But in the meantime, we're getting everything we wanted: total security, total access to everything, have as many bases, have all the equipment that we want. And very importantly,
he read Mein Kampf at least 3 times. Stop fucking lying so much. No, not even. No. He doesn't even read shit that would like at least give him some intellectual basis on all the wrong stuff that he believes and spreads, okay? He's not reading shit. I'm gooning to you and Trump. Okay, Mark Rutte, chill. I'm gooning, yeah. Zaddy is on screen, yeah, I'm gooning. Oh, I'm gooning so hard.
You know, we're building the Golden Dome, we call it. It was called the Iron Dome. Somehow the Golden Dome sounded a little bit better.
Yes, that's what I call myself, is a golden dome. I'm Mark Water, and this is Daddy.
We have a technology that's second to none. You saw what we did with Israel, and that's our genius that did that, and it's amazing. It's just, you know, it's foolproof, and we're going to be building it, and it works much better when we have access to Greenland. Just covers more territory, covers it more accurately. Missiles will be more accurate by having it. It's very important strategically as a piece, and we will have everything we want. We're getting everything we want at no cost.
So the Golden Dome will be on Greenland?
A piece of it, yes, and it's a very important part because it's everything comes over Greenland. If the bad guys start shooting, it comes over Greenland. So we knock it down. It's pretty infallible. It's amazing. You know, Ronald Reagan had the idea a long time ago, but we didn't have any technology at that point. The concept was great, but there was no technology. Now we have unbelievable technology. I mean, virtually 100%.
So what are we talking about? An acquisition of Greenland? Are you going to pay for it? I mean,
we're talking about it. It's really being negotiated now, the details of it, but essentially it's total access. It's there's no end. There's no time limit. We're not doing a 99 or a 10-year or anything else, you know, the famous 99-year deals that you hear about, because countries can't do it for that. Countries go on longer. And so I think it's going to be something that's very well, already it's being reviewed very well. Well, I noticed the stock market went up very substantially after we announced it. But the details are being negotiated now. It'll be very good.
So because the GDP of Greenland is like $3.3 billion, but people are valuing Greenland of between $50 billion and almost $1 trillion. So what are you willing to pay for Greenland?
Well, I'm not going to have to pay anything. We're going to have total access to Greenland. We're going to have all military access that we want. We're going to be able to put what we need on Greenland because we want it. We're talking about national security and international security. So we're going to not have to pay anything other than the fact that we are building the goal.
Hassan, what books do you read, and why is it feminist literature? I don't read any feminist literature. Let's be real. That's like my biggest area of weakness. That and like, I don't know, stock market shit, maybe. Like, this is the #1 gripe that people have with me. How dare you? Men, it's true.
Golden Dome, and the Golden Dome is going to be something that's going to be very amazing. It'll be Israel times probably 100. And we need it. I think we need it. And it's all going to be made in the United States. We have the best weapons in the world. We have the best companies in the world. We want them to produce faster, and you know, we've put a mandate out. You're going to have to produce faster, whether it's the Patriots or the Tomahawks or the F-35s or anything else. We make the best equipment, but they have to make it a lot faster.
And you've said you want a defense budget of $1.5 trillion for 2027. How do you pay for that with the $37 trillion debt load?
Yeah, the money that's coming.
So why can't you address it and grow? There's only a finite amount of time throughout the day. That's it. Why am I being derailed? Come on, shut up. Enough.
Astronomical. You know, we'll be taking in over $600 billion this year alone in tariffs, and that's because we're doing it nice and easy. We're not even doing it strongly. We hope we have a good decision from the Supreme Court. If we don't, we figure something else. But it certainly makes life a lot easier if we have that decision that we're waiting for. If we don't, we'll do something else. But we have a lot of money coming in. We have a tremendous success. We have over $18 trillion. It could be when I get the final numbers, could be more than that now because, you know, that was a month and a half ago, but we have $18 trillion coming into the country in the form of investments. We have thousands of businesses being built all over the country. And you see it, you report on it better than anybody else. I appreciate that. But, you know, when you think of 18 trillion plus, no country's done anywhere near that. Like, that's probably 4 times, 5 times more than any other country's ever done.
And I always say money goes where it's treated best.
Well,
so you've got the right policies, obviously.
But they want to be treated good. They want to know that, you know, we have a country that's hot. We had a dead country 1 year ago. This was a dead under Biden. You know that better than anybody, but we were a dead country. The king of Saudi Arabia said it to me. I use it all the time. He said, you know, 1 year ago you were a dead country. Now you have the hottest country in the world. We're the hottest country in the world.
Mr. President, are our relations with Europe deteriorating or worsening? I mean, French President Macron called the Greenland situation colonialism. European leaders have these emergers.
I'll be honest. I think they're still cucked. I don't think it's changing. I think these guys just want to go back to business as usual desperately. Their entire existence revolves around this. Or if there's a transition going from liberalism to fascism, they want to be the ones who make that transition happen. And they want to land as gently as possible in that direction. If you step foot in Tallahassee, you will be reduced to atoms. Hold, I'm almost done. Hold still and maintain eye contact. Would you say you're a hood vegan or a light-skinned cheerleader? If you step foot in Tallahassee, you will be reduced to atoms. Yeah, I think I'm going to be all right on that one. That's a Los Pollos meme. Bro, don't you ever think about stepping foot in Little Rock, Arkansas. Los Pollos reference, my bad. Okay.
Talks to try to...
that guy hates me, dude. Los Pollos fucking hates me.
Retaliate or stop your plans.
I got ops that I don't even know about. You know what I mean? I got ops that I thought all he did was just Drake and drive and talk about how Drake is so awesome. I didn't even realize he had like political opinions. You know what I mean? It's so funny. Montana has your number, bro. Oh, hell no. Yeah. All the D1 Drake riders hate you, to be honest. Yeah, because they all are suspiciously on kick. He fell for Twitter clips. I mean, the Europeans have come up with an ingenious compromise. If they give Trump the Sudetenland, surely he won't go for the rest of Czechoslovakia. Yep. Member states discuss a compromise in which Denmark would give the United States sovereignty over small pockets of Greenlandic land. Degenerate vassals serving a degenerate empire is true. Okay? The principle here is that Trump rules over you. Okay? He rules over you. He rules over the continent. He rules over all. And the reality of the matter is, today, it's pieces of Greenland. Tomorrow, it could be Norway. Bro, you fucked up pronunciation up. Sudetenland. Did I fuck it up again? I don't fucking know how to say it. Sudetenland. Sudetenland. Sudden death in land. Anyway, I think the liberals think that, you know, they can just be happy vassals rather than angry slaves. They can continue being happy vassals. They want to continue being happy vassals, and they're fine with what comes next. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see.
You're threatening France with 200% tariffs on wine and champagne. There's been a real reaction from the European group. So,
well, they put a service charge on us, you know, which is something that they're going to have to remove. I think we get along good, but, you know, I've always debated, we are always going to be there for them, but will they be there for us? I've always said that, you know, if we ever needed them, because NATO has very much been a one-way street. We actually paid, until I came along, we were paying for, I think we paid 100% the cost of NATO. They weren't paying, and we were paying. We have hundreds of thousands of soldiers in Germany. We have 50,000 soldiers in other countries. We have a lot of soldiers, not only Europe and other places. And, you know, we want that to be reciprocal. We want to be liked and respected. So I've always said, and we get along very well with NATO, I think, but I've always said, will they be there if we ever needed them? And that's really the ultimate test. And
bro, I was talking to Felix about this. I saw an old clip of Trump from like 2015, 2016, where he's talking about like women wearing the hijab and shit. And he is so devoid of the sauce. Okay? He had the juice. He had the sauce. He has fucking lost it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that clip. It was a new one for me. But he's like, it's like when he's going, why the hell do I care about this? Where it's a classic, but I had not seen it. Okay? I had not seen him. Let's pull it up. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can, because I sent it to Felix. And let me see if I can fucking pull it up on my phone real quick. Or at least like, maybe someone can actually show me. Back in the day, everyone used to always say, whenever I said Felix, people would say, oh, Felix Langiel, XQC. Nowadays, no one says it, except there are still some people saying it in the chat. That's crazy. That's funny. That's sad, but good job, guys. Oh, here, this is it. This is it.
Would we be better off, as an example, in Iraq? What are we doing? What are we doing? The migration was caused by Iraq, by Libya, by this. We want to give people freedom? We're not going to have our own freedom pretty soon if we keep doing this. We're not going to have our own freedom. They don't want freedom. It's like I saw somebody, I won't even say because it's embarrassing. We want it where the women over there don't have to wear the you-know-what. And then I said, oh, well, that makes sense. That's nice. Then I saw women interviewed. They said, we want to wear them. We've worn them for 1,000 years. Why would anybody tell us not to? They want to. What the hell are we getting involved for? In fact, it's easier. You don't have to put up makeup. Look how beautiful everyone looks. Wouldn't it be easier? Wah. Right? Wah. Wouldn't that be easy? I'll tell you, if I was a woman, I don't want to. Wah. I'm ready, darling. Let's go. It's true.
Bro, that's literally 9 years ago, man. That's July 20. That's 10 years ago almost. Like, look at that. He basically takes a position, a non-interventionist position, by still hitting on a very right-wing thing, and then justifies it. Brother, he has not changed one bit. Are you you just watched this? Now listen to him now.
I'm not sure of that.
Look at his face and look at his statements.
I know that we would have been there, or we would be there. But will they be there? And let's hope that that never happens. We've never needed them. We have never really asked anything of them. You know, they'll say they.
Israeli media reports Trump preparing a strike on Iran. Yeah, I told you guys that once the fucking cruisers were lined up in and around Israel so they can defend, you know, the only important nation on the planet, Israel, Am Israel Chai, of course. I hope everyone said their 10 Am Israel Chais. Only after that will they actually even entertain striking Iran.
Send some troops to Afghanistan or this or that. And they did. They stayed a little off the front lines. But we've been very good to Europe and to many other countries. And, you know, now under my administration, that began because we had a very successful first term. That began then, but it has to be a two-way street. And it's been a two-way street, much more so. And now it's really been a two-way street.
So what should we expect from the European countries? I mean, they've got this EU...
Yeah, 2016, 2 was. 2026, 0 was. No wah. Wah.
Anti-coercion instrument that would be, you know, services, impacting our services, as you said. And then the Danish pension fund said that they're going to exit U.S. treasuries, $100 million treasuries at the end of December. European countries hold trillions of stocks and bonds from the U.S. Do you worry that they would start selling those in retaliation?
If they do, they do. But, you know, if that would happen, there would be a big retaliation on our part. And we have all the cards.
Mm-hmm. And how much of all of this, you've been so tough on so much. I mean, Venezuela, Iran, et cetera, a long list. How much of this is messages to China and Russia as well?
I think they see what happens. Look, we attacked Iran. We wiped out their nuclear capacity one night. This was supposed to have been done for the last 25 years, and it wasn't, by American presidents. And we did it, and it was a tremendous success. We wiped out, as you know, al-Baghdadi, that's ISIS, the founder of ISIS, and he was rebuilding ISIS. I knocked him out first term. Soleimani, that was a big one. He's the father of the roadside bomb. All the young people that you see without arms and legs, and their face was blown to pieces. And that was 95% sure it was al-Baghdadi. He was the father of the roadside bomb. He's gone. Now he's white.
He has such a beautiful way with words, man. Al-Baghdadi died like a dog, father of the roadside bomb.
Out. And recently Venezuela. But a big one was, you know, you take a look at what we did. We would not have peace in the Middle East if we didn't take out the nuclear capacity from Iran. We wiped it out. Operation Midnight Hammer, it's called. And that was an incredible feat. Every single bomb went right down those chutes and exploded. 100,000-pound bombs, massive.
I think he thinks his first name was Al. Yeah. Al. Like Allen Iverson. Al-Baghdadi. Lots of Al's. Everyone always says Muhammad is the most popular name in the region, but I think it's Al. Al this, Al that, and then followed by Bean. Al and Bean. Everyone's got a name where they say, oh, this guy is Al. Weird Al Yankovic.
Bombs, they went right through. In the dark of night, no moon, no anything. Every single bomb hit its target perfectly. And then recently Venezuela, you know, that was, some people think that was sort of the most amazing because this was in a major military fort. One of the biggest military forts went in. did the job, came out. Nobody can believe it happened. Nobody killed, no equipment lost. Pretty amazing.
It could be that what you did in Venezuela galvanized the people of Iran, and I want to get your take on next steps, because you told the people of Iran you're with them. Help is on the way. We understand from reports at least 20,000 people are dead. How do you know they're no longer killing citizens, and will you finish the job?
Well, I hear two different reports. I mean, I hear different numbers, much different than those numbers. But I will say that they were going to hang 837 people that you know about, and that was sort of a done deal. And I said, if you do that, you're going to pay a big price. You're going to get hit harder than anybody's ever been hit before. And they decided not to do that. So they didn't hang those people on Thursday. Last Thursday, they were going to hang. Can you believe it? We're talking about this?
No.
That's from 1,000 years ago, right? But that's what we're dealing with. And yet smart, cunning people. But it's an ancient way of life. They were going to hang 837 people. And I said, in the very strongest of language, don't do it. And they didn't do it, so that was a big thing. And from there, we'll see what happens. I mean, that's the last we had to do with them for a little while. But if we didn't take out their nuclear threat, there would not be peace in the Middle East. Nobody could have done it. They were all afraid. They were afraid. They used to say the bully of the Middle East, that Iran was the bully of the Middle East. Now, they're not such an effective bully anymore.
Well, if they keep killing people, will you go back? And
well, I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to put myself in a position. I can't say that. I don't want to say it because I think it would be stupid for me to say that.
And I get that. I want to turn to the economy, Mr. President, because when I first interviewed you, when you first came back, it was about a month after the inauguration for your second term. I asked you, Mr. President, what do you want the economy to look like in 4 years? And you were very clear. You said, I want the private sector to rule the day. And since then, in the last year, you've taken a 10% stake in Intel. You've taken a stake in MP, Mountain Pass. You told the defense companies 2 weeks ago, don't pay any dividends, don't do buybacks until you produce the weapons that we need. So please explain to our audience, how is that free market capitalism?
Well, it's very free market. We have defense companies that were making a fortune. They were buying back stock with all their money, and then they come to us for money if they want to, we want to buy something or we want to have plants built, and they'd say, could you loan us the money? And they'd be doing tens of billions of dollars of stock buybacks. So I'm not letting them do it. I want them to put money into, we have the best equipment in the world, the Patriots, the Tomahawks, the F-35s, all of our equipment's the best. Other countries want it, and we want it. We need more. It takes too long to get it. I said, we're not going to do that anymore. So also, they were making tremendous amounts of money. I mean, 25, 50, $37 million a year. That's a lot of money. That's almost as much as you make. You work harder. You work harder than them. No, but, they were making, I asked one of the gentlemen, what are you making? Sir, I make $24 million. How come it takes me 5 years to get your particular thing that they make, right? So I put a cap on that for a period of time. I said, you have to build more plants. When we need Tomahawks, I want them within 24 hours. When we need any kind of a Patriot or whatever I want to have it quickly. I don't want to be waiting 3 years for it. What kind of a thing is that? And you make all this money. And I'm prohibiting them from doing stock buyback. And they haven't even complained about it.
Well, so free market capitalism, unless it's a national security issue?
Look, it's free market. It's stupid market letting that take. Why would I let them do stock buybacks and we give them, the businesses from us? So I want to buy, and interestingly, their stocks went up because we raised the budgets. Our budgets are high. We're going to buy more military equipment. We have to. In this world, we have to. We have the strongest military. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We have the strongest military we've ever had. And we're going to keep it that way. And you get a little glimpse of that with Iran nuclear, but you got a really very current glimpse from 2 weeks ago with Venezuela.
Yeah.
We have the smartest, we have the strongest, we have the best equipment. They had a lot of anti-aircraft stuff that didn't exactly work too well.
Well, thank God for our military and for our commander-in-chief on that.
We have the greatest, strongest military in the world, and we make the best equipment. We have to make it faster.
Mr. President, let me talk about affordability, because just in the last 100 days, you announced a list of things that you want to be putting in place, bringing down the cost on a number of things, a 10% cap on credit cards, $200 billion in purchases of mortgage-backed securities, banning institutions from owning single-family homes. How soon would you expect those policies to actually move the needle on cost?
Well, I think they're going going to kick in pretty quickly. But
someone said he must have been told he only has X months to live, and I think that's right. Dude, I feel like he'd be crazier than this if he only had a couple months to live. I feel like he'd be doing way crazier shit. And I mean like way crazier shit. I think that's just cope in general. The idea that like a tyrant, a brutal tyrant will not be deposed by the people, but instead will go away with divine intervention. I think that's just like maximalist cope. Hate to break it to you guys, you know, it's just not how that works. Okay. Having said that, however, you know, it would be far crazier than what we're seeing so far, I think.
we're doing great on affordability. You know, that's a word that the Democrats made up. They're the ones that caused the problem. When I inherited this,
Yeah, same with Erdogan. Yeah, Democrats made up the word affordability is awesome. Brother, you won on affordability. You promised affordability. That was your signature promise.
Came into office, I had eggs that were 5 times higher than they ever were, and the people were screaming at me. Remember the famous, like 2 days after I come into, what about eggs?
We're all becoming Turks Lamau. Yes, the fate of all mankind is to inevitably become Turkified. It's happening with Europe. That's what I was thinking of the other day, where it's like Europe is basically Turkey now. They're also in NATO. They're becoming Turkified. They get like little side deals here and there, and it makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel strong in this allegiance that they have with the United States of America. And then America still rolls over them whenever they see fit. Exactly like Turkey. Except I think Erdogan knows that he is supposed to be a lapdog to America. And he has figured out a way to wheel and deal like little things. And by that, I mean, by little things, I mean usually always, killing Kurds. That's the little thing that he can extract out of both the European leadership and also the Western leadership. Or outside of that, that's foreign policy. The little things that he can extract is Europeans and the Western world turning a blind eye when he jails his entire opposition and shit, you know? He's like, oh, yeah, you did Syria, fine. You know, you get a lot of enmity, you get a lot of heat from Israel now, and we'll give you a couple drone strikes on Kurdish territories, and we'll turn a blind eye to you jailing every fucking opposition figure in the country.
About eggs.
Yeah. I just got to office.
I said, do we have a problem with eggs? I just got here, right? And we have that down now lower, but the food prices are coming down. Look at gasoline, $1.99 in a lot of places. We're down to $1.99 in a lot of places. We're $2.30 overall, but we're down to $1. It was $4.50, $500. I mean, think of it. It was $4. You were spending in a lot of places over $5. We have it at $1.99. That's better than any tax cut. In addition, the great big beautiful bill just kicked in. And now you have no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security for our seniors, no tax on overtime.
So good.
That bill is going to have a huge, and you have, of course, the 1-year deduction from, build a plant and you can deduct.
I was just going to say the depreciation seems like it's really having an impact on small
We have thousands of businesses being built all over the country. There's never been a time like this in our country.
Where? What are you saying? Where? Where is there growth? The only growth is in the stock market. And even then, it's just for like 4 companies. And it's not like they're hiring new people either. Where's the fucking growth? They're just building AI data centers. That's it. That's it. Growth is in everything's casino. Everything is computer. Everybody transgender. That's it. It's one big AI circle jerk. Where is the fucking growth? Yeah, also healthcare. True. To a certain degree, healthcare is growing because boomers are getting even older. Older than you've never seen before. But healthcare always grows. And even healthcare's growth rate has been stunted. It's fucking dog shit. People can't find jobs. They're like, if you're under the age of 40, you've just given up. If you're under the age of 40 and you don't currently have a job, you're fucked. And on top of that, he's cutting so many things that are supposed to make things more affordable, like subsidies, right? Like, the current system that we have for healthcare is already busted, and they're making it worse. And he's over here being like, everything's great. Everyone's growing.
Country. And, a lot of that's the $18 trillion that's pouring in. I spoke with Eli Lilly the other day. He's a great guy, a great leader. And I said, What are you doing? He's building 5 plants. They're spending billions and billions of dollars bringing back the drug industry into this country. Many of them, I think all of them, they all want to come. And it's because of tariffs, because they don't want to pay the tariffs. Very simple.
On the
and I think they were very happy with November 5th, the election.
On the cap of credit.
Eli Lilly's a company name, not a person. That's what you think. I know Eli. He's a very good guy. Very good guy. Loves me.
Card rates, and of course they were up to 28, 30% in some cases. But
Mr. Eli and Mr. Tim Apple.
One
David,
analyst.
how can you do that? Look, I'm all for free enterprise and everything else, but you have a guy goes out and he's a little bit late on his payment, and he ends up filing for bankruptcy, right? 28%. Whatever happened to usury? Whatever happened? They used to have laws that you can't charge too much. But 28%, 30%.
Yeah, Eli Lilly died in 1898, but he loves him. He would have loved me if he was alive. Trust me.
32%. I don't think anyone knows that. I think they get a bill and they end up just going bankrupt.
Well, one analyst said it's going to cut earnings for the banks for between 5% and 16%.
It's a one-year deal. We got to let people get back on their feet.
Jamie Dimon says that it's an economic disaster.
They were destroyed. These people were destroyed during the Biden years. They were destroyed. We had the highest inflation in history. Look at inflation for the last 3 months. It's 1.2%. Last 3 months, it takes a little time to get there. And I'll tell you, the oil price is coming down so much. Gasoline, when you get gasoline down to, less than $2, and we've largely done that. It's coming down, and it's coming down. We're drilling more than we've ever drilled. We have more coming in. And
all right, we found it. We found a guy. We found a guy. I work for a company that's having growth from the tariffs. It's a cabinet company that's fighting bigger corporate business or other business importing cabinets from China. All right, hell yeah. We found a guy. Okay. Fair. Trump only hates usury because he bankrupted a casino. Let's be real. I don't think Trump hates usury, man. Usury is a sin. It's haram. That's what they tell me. All right. I go to the Gulf states. They tell me, Mr. President, you are the best. You are so halal, Mr. President. You hate usury. It's a sin, they say.
50 million barrels of oil from Venezuela. And they gave it to us. They had to get.
That chatter is a part of the 0.05% GDP increase in 2025, by the way. That's how fucking cooked we are. Do you understand? Because outside of AI, data centers, recycling the same fucking money around, there's like a 0.05% growth in the GDP. And that chatter is one of that. That chatter is seemingly working at one of the companies.
Get rid of it. They gave it to us. It's, could be close to $5 billion. No, we're doing really well. Our country is, you report on it better than anyone else. Our country is doing as well as I think it's done better than it's ever done.
Are you going to release a budget next month? And do you want to see another reconciliation package?
Well, I think we have a problem because I think we're going to probably end up in another Democrat shutdown because that's the only way. When we came out with the numbers over 5, everyone was shocked. But remember, we would have been up 1.5 points more. We would have been at 6.5, maybe more than that, except for the shutdown. The shutdown cost us a lot. And I think they'll probably do it again. That's my feeling. We'll see what happens.
So will you release a budget?
No
We're going to have a budget.
What's in the budget?
What's too early? We have a long way. That's an eternity. When you talk about a couple of weeks in this world, that's an eternity. But we're negotiating the budget right now. We're negotiating health care. I don't want the insurance companies to get the money. I want the money to be paid directly back to the people. And when it comes back to the people, by the way, everyone is in love with it. You know what happened? I'm looking and on your show, but I'm looking and I'm reading the papers and I'm seeing that these insurance companies are up 1,000%. They're up 1,700%, 1,400%. And I say, what the hell? This is money being given by the government. And it has to do with largely, a lot of it, Obamacare. The money's going, that was designed.
Oh, I can't stand when Republicans do this thing where they will literally point to a problem, an inefficiency in the system, and then use that as a reason for why they must exhaust the inefficiency further. Yes, Obamacare basically works like a subsidy for private insurance. But the problem there is the existence of private insurance. The solution to that is not to make private insurance less regulated or to rob it of any subsidies whatsoever. So then those companies refuse to actually cover anybody. The solution to that is to abolish it in its entirety and bring it under the banner of the state. They do this for everything. They'll be like, gun control. Excuse me. Gun control is a problem. The problem there is mass availability of guns, okay? There's an arsenal that you can purchase by walking into a goddamn Walmart. That's the issue. But what do Republicans do? They go, gun violence is a big issue. Well, how do we solve it? More guns. Fuck! Fuck! Why didn't I think of that? That's how you fix it, obviously. Their solution is literally to look at the problem and go, let's make it worse. Let's lean into the problem. Anyway, Nikema Levy Armstrong arrested after disrupting Minnesota church service.
An activist who led an anti-immigration enforcement protest that disrupted a Minnesota church service has been arrested. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced the arrest of Nikema Levy Armstrong in a post on X on Thursday. Protesters entered the city's church in St. Paul on Sunday. A local official with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement
Yeah, they did a fucking AI image too, by the way. It appears that the White House edited this image using AI. Homeland Security investigators and FBI agents arrest Nikema Levi Armstrong, who played a key role in orchestrating the church riots in St. Paul, Minnesota. She's being charged with a federal crime. Looks like the White House and certain DOJ officials are busy teeing up a motion on prejudicial, extrajudicial statements this morning. And they literally fucking AI slopped her face to make her look like she was crying. I mean, it's not the most significant aspect of this. It's not the most significant problem here, but it's just like crazy that they just keep doing this over and over again. It's so fucking annoying. Kash Patel tweeted out all three of the arrests. Every last individual who allegedly targets our brave federal law enforcement, targets places of worship, or in any way pays for or facilitates such illegal activity will be pursued and will be caught. Yeah, unless you're Jeffrey Epstein, in which case we will hide all of the Jeffrey Epstein co-conspirators. What is this? This is what Zach does to you all the time. It's so odd. Yeah, I think if you have the brain of a 4-year-old, this is the type of shit that you enjoy, like the AI, like AI face swap or whatever. I guess like maybe it's just a way to have power over someone, right? In your mind. I don't know why people do it. I find it very strange. I don't really care when it's done to me. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? It is strange though. Also, they wanted to go after Don Lemon, but the judge did not allow that to happen. A federal magistrate judge rejected a complaint against Don Lemon in connection with the Minneapolis church protest, finding it lacked probable cause. Attorney General Pam Bondi was enraged by the decision. A person familiar with the matter said, like, good luck prosecuting Don Lemon. I mean, he's doing his job as a fucking journalist in that situation. He's protected under the First Amendment, for the record. They'll still keep pursuing Don Lemon, make no mistake. But it goes to show it's just for fun, right? All of this stuff that's happening, all of this stuff that's going on is just cruelty for the sake of cruelty. It's just, bread and circuses, especially when there's no bread. All you got is circuses, right? And that's what they're doing. It's a performance.
For those white supremacist morons who don't even have a clue how business works, your companies such like Walmart, Target, they place order in China's factory. Then the factory will produce the products, what they ordered, what kind of material they want, how much the price they're gonna pay. Then the Chinese factory will produce for them. Then they will buy it to sell in Target or Walmart. So the quality you are talking about is exactly what they ordered. Okay, you want high quality, you need to pay more money. But your importers, they buy cheapest shit from China and sell you with high price.
Trump just revealed that there's a massive armada heading in the direction of Iran. And then, of course, it's fucking Newswire, so they hit the Poly Market ad. Oh, my Lord. What a fucked up world we live in. Oh, my God. Everything sucks so bad, dude. So, I was right. The only reason why he didn't strike Iran was because of Israel. He did not strike Iran because all of the flotillas, all of the Navy assets were too busy surrounding Venezuela. There weren't enough naval assets in the region to protect Big Daddy Israel.
serves as a pastor there, and Nakima Levy Armstrong has called for him to resign.
How can you be a pastor of a church, but overseeing ICE agents in the field?
There have been almost nonstop demonstrations in response to the January 7th death of 37-year-old Renee Good by an ICE officer in Minneapolis, along with the Trump administration's immigration crackdown nationwide.
I am here to stand in solidarity with the people.
Nakima Levy Armstrong is no stranger to activism in the Twin Cities area. She's a civil rights attorney who's helped lead local protests after high-profile police-involved killings of Black Americans, including George Floyd. He died in 2020 after being pinned to the ground by Minneapolis police officers, which sparked massive protests. She's also the former president of the NAACP's Minneapolis branch. Vice President J.D. Vance addressed the arrest at an event in Ohio.
They're scaring little kids who are there to worship God on a Sunday morning. Those people are going to be sent to prison so long as we have the power to do so.
It's not immediately clear what charges Levy Armstrong faces.
So how dare somebody claim to be a pastor while overseeing evil?
Now, this is breaking news from the WCCO Live Desk on CBS News Minute.
Guys, you're going to be doing over-unders on American casualties in Iran. Soldiers will be slamming out their commanding officers to secure their beds. Oh, dystopian future is here. It is here and it is now. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, as far as this church protest goes, I can't even begin to give a single shred of a fuck. This is very clearly like Republicans looking for a place of victimhood once again. I don't even think many Americans care about this either. Like, I think this is just something that Republicans are talking about, but even most Republicans don't even care about it. Like, it's not, I don't know. I don't think this is like a real, like, I think this is what the Republicans are trying to turn into like a big deal that everyone should be mad about or offended. But I think if you have two functioning brain cells, you look at the situation and you're like, okay, the fucking pastor is a ICE pastor. Yeah, I think that's way worse, especially at a time when ICE is already doing targeted raids outside of fucking churches, outside of schools, and gassing American citizens that are protesting. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it $150. Don't give a fuck about this. Free this lady. Free all these people. You're out of your fucking mind. My dad has messaged me about it a few times. I think it's taking up the airwaves a decent amount. If you're actually a Christian, then you understand. So what does it mean? They are moving ships in that direction now. Is a strike impending? Yes, they might strike Iran. The reason why they're moving the ships there is so that they can defend Israel, though. Martin Luther protested at a church. They are literally Protestant, Lamau. I mean, Jesus also fucking protested outside of a synagogue, no? Didn't Jesus also protest in a place of worship? Inside a place of worship? He beat people. He stormed it and fucked it up, flipping tables and stuff. No?
Soda.
I'm Maria Lisignoli, and we start with breaking news just into our newsroom this morning. A local activist and a
Jesus went in, flipped tables, and whipped moneylenders. Oh, man. Attorney General Pam Bondi would fucking brutalize Jesus in an El Salvador prison, dude. I swear.
St. Paul school board member who founded Black Lives Matter Twin Cities have been
I'm moving on from this. Let's talk about the real shit that ICE is doing, okay? And not this fake shit that these dumbass Republican dipshits are trying to lean into to carve out a space of victimhood for themselves. It's always the same meta, okay? ICE goes in, brutalizes the local population, terrifies people into submission. Okay, people can't even leave their fucking homes. People can't send their children to school. People can't send patients to hospitals because they're fucking terrified that ICE might just kidnap them, okay, in broad daylight. Then they kill someone that's protesting. Then people get even more mad. And when the protest continues and there's an ICE pastor out there that is being protested as well inside of a fucking church, all of a sudden they're like, whoa, that's so much worse than anything we've done. No, dude, if you have fucking eyes, if you have a conscience, if you have a heart, if you have ears to hear, if you have eyes to see, you recognize what the true evil is here, okay? The true evil is the federal government doing the things that I just described, not people protesting against the federal government doing the things that I just described. Unlimited cruelty for the sake of cruelty, okay? Hassan is on the right. Asman is on the left. Yes, Asmongold is the #1 socialist in the country. Yeah, here is the bovine bovino. Do you have any moral or ethical... Dude, what I don't understand about people that say dumb fuck shit like that, aside from like, you know, trying to rage bait me into getting mad at them and recognize their existence in an otherwise banal life that is just trucking along every single day and every existence is basically pain. The thing that I don't understand is like, okay, so you're placing a fucking higher emphasis, a higher moral emphasis on being a leftist then. Like you're admitting that it's you know, genuinely good. Anyway, that person probably was just memeing anyway. Let's continue.
5-year-old Liam Ramos. He should be in preschool, playing with his friends. But Liam was seized by ICE officers in Minneapolis on Tuesday and is now believed to be more than 1,000 miles away in detention in Texas with his father.
He's a bright young student and he's so kind. All I want is for him to be safe and back here.
The school district superintendent said officers had used a 5-year-old as bait after making Liam knock on the family door to see who else was home. She said he was one of...
Straight up Nazi shit, bro. Straight up. This is literally Nazi shit. This is exactly what the Nazis did. Oh my fucking Lord. Animals, all of them. Animals. This is like Israel does this. That's why we called them a Nazi country. America does this. It's a Nazi country all the same. Okay? The very fact that it's not the very fact that this is still a point of contention, whether or not this agency should exist, is insane to me. I hate the Republicans, obviously, for standing by and defending this kind of stuff. But I also despise the Democrats, too, for not doing anything about it. Mind-boggling levels of cruelty. Cruelty for the sake of cruelty.
4 children taken in their area alone.
ICE agents have been roaming our neighborhoods, circling our schools, following...
Yeah, 7 House Dems voted to continue to fund this. And not only that, but also Hakeem Jeffries also engaged in like this hollow engineering to make sure that this bill was passable regardless, so that they could do a protest vote without actually having to really stop the funding mechanism being threatened. It's awesome. It's fucking great. Love that.
our buses, coming into our parking lots and taking our children, and our hearts are shattered.
Another adult begged agents not to take Liam, but by the time his older brother returned from middle school, he and his dad were gone. This is Greg Bovino on the same streets, the architect of the policy that has seen...
The parallels are pretty indisputable. Oh, yeah. On the left, American imperialist politicians celebrating a future invasion of Greenland by making a cake with its territory 2026. On the right, Nazis presenting a cake to Hitler to celebrate the future invasion of the Caucasus, Baku, and its oil refineries, 1942. Azerbaijan will stop you, Adolf. But yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's 1-to-1. Like, what do you say? What do you do? I mean, bovine bovino is a straight up fucking little neo-Nazi man. Look at him. Look at this little guy.
ICE agents pour into cities like Minneapolis. Captured here lobbing a smoke canister at protesters.
That's a terrible throw, by the way. Like, not the main point, but it is kind of, it is another testament to how fucking weak and frail these guys are. Yeah, he threw that like a pussy and fucking gassed himself.
Today he insisted this is all about criminals, claiming they are only taking people they would describe as the worst of the worst. He was unapologetic about 5-year-old Liam.
Oftentimes you will see violent illegal aliens that perhaps do have families, and those violent criminal illegal aliens are going to be arrested. I've got no qualms about making America a safer place.
But Liam's story will only serve to motivate ICE protesters as Minneapolis becomes the front line of a national resistance. Former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton today accused officers of terrorizing a population, using children as pawns, saying, "My heart aches for Liam Ramos and his family." ICE called her claims an abject lie, claiming Liam's father was a criminal illegal alien from Ecuador who fled officers. leaving them to ensure Liam was safe. This morning, the vice president made clear.
Yeah, trying to ensure the safety of the 5-year-old by using him to lure out the family members.
Federal officers had his backing.
Well, you know, one of the things that we want to do is send a message to our local law enforcement, to our federal law enforcement, that we stand with them. And we're not going to abandon them, and we're not going to do what the last administration did, which is throw them under the bus to appease a bunch of left-wing radicals.
J.D. Vance then headed to Minneapolis in Minnesota, a democratically run state, with hundreds of thousands.
Bro, there has to be punishments. There has to be punishments. I don't think a lot of Democrats realize how fucking angry the base is, how angry regular people are at this stuff. They are not meeting the moment, which is unsurprising. But someone who comes out and says, I'm for Medicare for all, I'm for fucking, a government jobs program, I am for cutting ties to Israel, and I am for punishing every single person in the former administration and every single person in ICE that played a role in these Nazi activities on U.S. soil, will win by fucking insane margins. They'll have a reverse Reagan sweep. They'll do FDR numbers. We're gonna do a domestic Nuremberg. Tony DeCappo literally justifies his colleague's murder here by uncritically parroting Israel's basic claim that Abishad, a photographer who worked for CBS News, was operating a drone affiliated with Hamas when the IDF killed him by airstrike in Nulo every day. Unfucking bearable. I mean, I'm gonna get to that in a second. The three journalists that were killed.
Fewer undocumented
That were fucking CBS workers too.
Migrants than Republican-controlled Texas, where Liam and his father are being held right now, further fueling speculation that this isn't really about law enforcement, it's about politics.
Columbia Heights school officials say their sense of security is shaken and their hearts shattered after 4 students from the district have been taken by ICE.
The Columbia Heights school superintendent says 2 17-year-olds, one taken from his car on the way to school, the other taken after ICE agents busted in his apartment. The school district says just yesterday, 5-year-old Liam Ramos and his father were taken in the driveway of their home after leaving his classroom. They claim Liam was used as bait to knock on the door and ask to be let in to see if anyone was at home. Another elementary school student and their mother was also taken while walking to school, officials say. Both are in the detention center in Texas, and they want the public to get involved.
We're asking to please reach out to your congressional representatives to ask for an immediate and peaceful resolution to this occupation. Please help us and other schools to, again, be a safe place where all belong and all succeed.
So the school district does have an immigration lawyer to help figure out how to get the students back to Minnesota. We have asked ICE for a comment on the arrest of these children, but have not yet gotten a response.
New clashes in Minneapolis. Federal officers firing pepper spray and tear gas at protesters confronting Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino.
This is the other side of the ICE story. Aside from using a 5-year-old as bait and then defending it, which is obviously completely fucking insane. You also have this other side of the story. There was a Department of Homeland Security memo that was released or was passed around that allows ICE agents to enter homes without a judicial warrant, according to a whistleblower. Something that we saw the other day in Minneapolis, where ICE basically bust through the doors of a home in Minneapolis and went in and apprehended the father. This is why they're doing it.
Preventing agents from entering convenience stores during their ongoing immigration crackdown. Bovino himself seen tossing a smoke canister into a crowd. This as a new whistleblower complaint comes to light. It reveals a memo released internally by Immigration and Customs Enforcement suggesting that federal agents can rely on administrative warrants to make arrests instead of judicial warrants, meaning a judge does not have to sign off for agents to enter a suspect's home. The Department of Homeland Security insists there is legal precedent, but immigration advocates claim it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
ICE is saying we're going to
It is a violation. It is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. It is. There's no excuse for it. If you do not have a signed judicial warrant that will tell you exactly what you can even search. Because like even a signed judicial warrant is not going to allow you search and entry into every part of the fucking home. Like you have to get all of that signed off by a judge. Okay? Warrants are very specific. There needs to be a signed judicial warrant signed by a judge that hasn't expired that will allow you entry into someone's home. The Constitution is very clear about this. Okay? Wait, what is this? DHS lied. This guy was not on the loose in Minnesota when they raided a U.S. citizen's home without a warrant. He was in prison. DHS would know this information. Man, ICE sought and humiliating arrest of U.S. citizen has been in prison since 2024. Oh, this is the other guy. This was the other guy that they arrested, apprehended. DHS said this guy matched description of the U.S. citizen on the right that they detained. You recognize that the international world order is fake, but not that the Constitution is fake? No. There's a difference. The reason why there's a difference is because you should be able to uphold the Constitution. It's like much more personal, and there are instances where it's not, and there is a court system that still exists internally that will hold it up until it doesn't. But until that falls apart in its entirety, until the Supreme Court is like straight up going, yeah, no, and they have done this already, right, for other things like abortion and whatnot. But using every tool at your disposal, is an absolute must. Okay? Using every tool at your disposal is an absolute necessity. This is a matter of survival. So I'm not just going to go, oh, yeah, the fucking Constitution is fake, it's phony, whatever. No, there are still plenty of people who believe in the Constitution. Whether that's silly or not doesn't matter. And there is still a shred of like a modicum of defense in the courts as well. I 100% agree, but you need to recognize that it's not enough and people need to organize. Is there a fucking... When have I said that it's not? This kind of shit makes me so furious, brother. You're just repeating my talking points back to me in a contentious manner, okay? That's why I said it's not the end all be all. Yeah, did I say stand back and just tell the government I have a copy of the Constitution. I have a pocket Constitution, sir. That's not what I said. God damn, dude. Fuck, this shit is so goddamn annoying. Everybody stand back. The Constitution will protect you. That's what I was implying, obviously. Why? Why is it the least charitable interpretation every single time? How is that possible?
Ignore case law from the U.S. Supreme Court that says an independent party must make a decision at the judiciary to issue a warrant, and we're just going to rely on our own warrants signed off by our own people to bust down a door and go into a home. The executive branch trying to act like the legislative branch and making up laws and policies as they go along.
In response, Homeland Security saying every illegal alien who DHS serves administrative warrants had full due process and a final order of removal from an immigration judge. The officers...
They don't. It's bullshit, okay? They can have a final order of removal. That does not mean you have a judicial warrant to enter someone's home. In order to get a judicial warrant to enter someone's home, to process a final order of removal, you have to go to a judge. Okay? You can't just go, I have a fucking pink slip that my mommy signed for me. You know? You can't just like walk around and be like, well, my dad signed this slip that says I can go into your house, so I can go into your house. Because it's as worthless. The administrative warrant is just as worthless as saying my daddy Trump signed this piece of paper that allows me to go into your house. Okay? What good is the Constitution if the federal government is not going to follow it? The whole purpose of the Constitution is to limit the powers of the government over the people, okay? That's what it is. The Constitution is not just like, put together rules that restrict people. It's actually supposed to restrict the government from encroaching on the people's liberties. Oh. We need to stop pretending that the Constitution means anything in the face of capitalism. I think it's childish personally. No, dude, it still fucking matters. It matters up until the point it doesn't, okay? And as long as the courts still exist, as long as there is any sort of limitation, it matters. That's the reason why Donald Trump, outside of like all the pushback that he received in Chicago or Los Angeles, had to pull out of those places because courts told him you can't do that. It's at least one weapon in the arsenal that you can use to resist. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to exhaust all options. I don't trust the Democrats at all. I don't believe the Democrats will ever do the fucking right thing, but I still demand them to at least hold up some kind of legislative hurdle in front of this goddamn administration, as it's obviously engaging in tyrannical abuse of power. Why do I say that? Because it's another weapon, right? It's another weapon that you can wield against the tyrannical administration, because the final stage of this process is people arming themselves, directly arming themselves and organizing local fucking militias to take matters in their own hands. And that is decentralized violence as a mechanism of defense. But that's a last resort. And the reason why you don't want to let it get to that last resort is because then it's fucking hot conflict. It's hot war. It's no longer a system that we can exist under, a stable country that we can live under. A lot of you don't understand how devastating that would look like what that result, what that chaos would look like, what that would mean for you. Okay, no more Twitch, no more going on Twitch and watching Hasanabi while eating hot Cheetos, no more work from home. Do you understand? That's civil war. I don't want it to get there, but there's only so much you can do until the population realizes no one's coming to save them and they take matters of self-defense in their own hands. Okay? What good is it to live in a civilized society if the safeguards are not going to work and the government is going to behave in an uncivil manner? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll still find a way to fucking keep live streaming through the process of civil war, okay? But some of you might not have time to watch. You feel me?
Issuing these administrative warrants also have found probable cause. But at least one U.S. senator is now calling for an investigation. Meanwhile, the immigration crackdown now spreading to the state of Maine. Agents saying they're searching for
Do you move all off so hard if there's a civil war roach man would dominate discourse? I would literally fucking hire a brigade. I would have my own private military contractors defending me every step of the fucking way. Well-armed PMCs, fleet of Tacoma trucks with fucking machine guns on top of it, and I would roam the goddamn lands like a fucking warlord, live streaming the process. Yes, Blackwater, okay? I would hire the most rugged war criminals. Just not IDF, because then they'd kill me probably. Okay? And the only way I could fund that mechanism is through you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. Piker Broadcasting Services, sponsored by you. No ads, no nothing. No fucking frills, all thrills, baby. Your subscriptions in the form of a Twitch Prime, which is free by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, or a $6 a month subscription is what allows me to hire private military contractors to defend myself in the upcoming civil war as I continue to fucking live stream throughout the entire process. I will get Graham Plattner on with a fucking M60 strapped up to a Tacoma. Yes, you are... People were like, why aren't you funding the Revolutionary Vanguard? Well, it turns out that might happen somehow. As long as you don't go to a tattoo parlor with Graham Plattner, you're fine. You might get in trouble for this. Wait, what? Trouble for what? I said that in a potential civil war style scenario, I will hire my own private military contractors to continue being able to report live from on the ground. M60's outdated. You want an M249 or M240B? Okay, whatever. Closed presents. Thank you for the hundo.
1,400 targets accused of multiple crimes.
Your hypothetical made me scared, and now I want you banned. Sorry, not sorry.
As for the use of tear gas against protesters, an appeals court is allowing officers to use the tactic for crowd control. Vice President J.D. Vance visits Minneapolis today to speak with local leaders.
Open presents, thank you.
Sprayed a protester in the face with a...
Yeah, this was one of the most insane. Another fucking chaotic sight from the dystopian now that we exist in, the dystopian present that we exist in here in Israel. Okay, another Hamas militant getting put down and sprayed in the fucking face. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? What is this? It didn't take that long for Israel to be here, you know? What the hell?
The image was captured by a Minnesota Star Tribune photographer who who said witnesses told him federal agents had taken away at least 2 teens, sparking tension at the protest. According to the photographer, the scene grew even more heated when a Border Patrol agent shoved a woman with a bicycle to the ground. Video of the incident shows agents atop a person on the ground, but when agents stood him up, the man attempted to break free. Agents pinned him down again, and another agent walked over and sprayed him in the face while he was restrained. It is not clear why the protester was initially detained. The Star Tribune photographer said he did not see the man on the ground put his hands on the agents. Agents didn't deploy tear gas and other chemical irritants to disperse the crowd, he said. The Department of Homeland Security...
Yeah, thank God the courts allowed this to happen, by the way. That's great. I think people that say I voted for this need lobotomies. Like, they see images like this and say, I voted for this. This is what I voted for. Like, you deserve a fucking lobotomy, brother. Straight up. That's crazy. Yeah, JD Vance be like, but you don't understand the context. Actually. Or, actually, we need to allow law enforcement to engage in these. Have you even considered their feelings? No, you didn't. I need one of these. The fucking the shit that the ice agents are wearing now, like the chains under your shoes. God, I fucking hate JD Vance so much. I think the level of personal vitriol and anger that law enforcement agents have against their subjects need to be outlawed. I don't know if that's even possible, but there are way too many cases of brutality where the agents are clearly personally pissed off, like Jonathan Ross. Completely unacceptable. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason for it. Because you have to have animals do this job, because no human being would do this. Every human being, if they were forced into this position, would go, I don't want to fucking do this. What are you, out of your mind? This is ridiculous. This is the prerequisite. You have to be a fucking animal, a feral animal, to behave like this. So they hire only feral animals to do this.
Security says agents were harassed and blocked by crowds.
No, the chain is not a kink. It's for snow and ice. Like the ice on the ground.
While trying to take bathroom breaks, saying in a statement, at each gas station where the agents stopped to use the restroom, groups of agitators appeared, yelled at them, stalked them.
I don't think these guys realize, like, this is far, far less than what they actually deserve, okay? Oh no, my feelings are hurt for behaving like a fucking feral animal in the wild. Like, shut the fuck up. Tough titties, bitch. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of the neighborhoods. Get the fuck out of Minneapolis. I read that their $50K bonus isn't payable until 2031, so hopefully they'll be in jail by then. Oh my God. Oh, that would be so sweet. Oh my God. Oh, put a fucking lien on that. Put a lien on that taxpayer-funded $50K signing bonus and just make them pay restitution for all the families that they fucking impacted with their behavior. Oh, please, please. I know the Democrats are not going to do this, but please, like, let me get something out of this. Please, please, please. Something, anything. I'm begging.
Tried to prevent law enforcement vehicles from leaving, creating unsafe conditions.
Help me! Get me out of here!
After the tear gas was deployed, you can see the man who was sprayed in the face running from the scene, not in custody. It's unclear if he was arrested. CNN has reached out to DHS.
They're such fucking incompetent morons, too. Like, oh, if you organize, you would not need to beg. Brother, what are you saying? What are you saying? What more can I do? Okay? What do you mean? Do you want me to take the platform that I currently have and throw it directly in the fucking dumpster by saying, hey, everyone, rise up in arms. It's time. Is that what you want? So I can fucking, I don't know, lean into your power fantasy? I already do organize, and I already do try to aid in organizing to the best of my fucking ability. There's also an important part of the awareness initiatives here, okay? Jesus fucking Christ. I'm going to fucking Minneapolis tomorrow for the general strike. What do you want? What are you talking about? It's so crazy. Chatter, FYI, it's a literal crime to conspire to violently disrupt ICE operations. Yeah, exactly. Like, this administration is already up my fucking asshole. I've already been detained before. You had Trisha McLaughlin talk about me. You had the fucking vice president talk about me and Kaya. And you're over here being like, why don't you openly violate the law? Why don't you, at a time when there's unprecedented surveillance on everyone, but especially a high profile anti-imperialist, anti-Zionist, anti-American tyranny content creator at a time when the government is looking to make a fucking example out of everyone. Why don't you do a crime so that I can feel good? I can feel like you're a real one. It's so fucking stupid.
You know, you're throwing race into it, right? Let's throw race out of this. That's the whole thing. It's divided. We have yet to say anything about race. Neither.
Then why are ICE apprehending people, brown people?
He's trying to debate lord it, dude. What the fuck? That's so funny. Like, what is this? What is this thing that people do where it's like, I'm a piece of shit, but I want to feel better, and I'm gonna try and fucking feel better by trying to rationalize my behavior in the marketplace of ideas. Yeah, why don't you commit crimes? Very uncool of you. I know. That shit is so fucking annoying to me. Like, doors open. Yeah, everyone's a liberal. No, I know. The ICE agent is a liberal too. He's like, I want to defeat my interlocutors in the marketplace of ideas. It'll make me feel better. He's debating in a fucking ski mask about the non-racial component of the white supremacist Gestapo forces. Awesome.
We have yet to say anything about race. Neither.
Then why are ICE apprehending people, brown people, asking them to show papers if they encounter them out in the public?
I could be straight up.
That is straight out of not.
Or a gentleman or whoever's from UK and they look like her.
They're on the sidewalk being peaceful.
It's simple. It's straight simple. They can look like me, you, her, him. If you're legal or illegal, you'll get deported.
A European country right
Then
now.
why aren't you doing it to Canadians?
Yeah, literally.
Like, you're not. They are not going up to white people asking for papers. Because I've been watching the news. Everyone that's being approached is a person of color.
Before the VP visit, ICE and Border Patrol leaders again emphasized their surge isn't slowing down. Frankie McLister was
there. He's so stupid. He's like, oh, it's not racial. Okay, would that make it better if you just started asking white people for their papers too? Like, at what point do you realize that, like, your entire presence is idiotic? Okay, your presence here is idiotic. It's useless. It's actually not for anything good. It's only causing harm and disruption to the regular order of business. That was your ICE chatter? Yeah. That was the ICE chatter in my chat. That was also like, hey man, I'm a fan of yours, but like, I served the Fourth Reich. And let me tell you, it's a job, I just want to work for the FBI, but I got to get that signing bonus so I can fucking send Guatemalan parents to El Salvador and rip them away from their fucking families. A job's a job.
There.
Just a day after Border Patrol Commander-at-Large Greg Bavino was seen in the streets. Bavino, joined by ICE Executive Assistant Director of Enforcement and Removal Operations Marcos Charles, speaking out.
Where was Mayor Fry? Where was, Governor Waltz? I didn't see him around anywhere.
The people we've arrested are here are not people you want living next door to your families, your children, your parents, or your best friends.
The two speaking at a podium inside the Bishop Henry Whipple Federal Building alongside MSP Airport, which holds the region's federal immigration court. Showing those on a screen they've detained who they say are, quote, the worst of the worst, and asking for Governor Walz, Mayor Fry, and everyone in between to help them.
We're all on the same team, and our cooperation will save lives.
The U.S. Department of Homeland Security says as of Thursday, they've now arrested over 3,300 since Operation Metro Surge began, numbers we haven't been able to verify.
Frankie, but WCCO here in CBS. Do you have any updated numbers of how many agents are here? It's been a few since we've received that.
Sure, I won't give you an exact number. Those numbers are going to remain law enforcement sensitive, but several thousand.
Charles adds that protesters across the state are trying to defend those who've committed crimes. Bavino also criticized Minneapolis police for not helping during Wednesday's protest.
Good.
When asked if they called for help, he only mentioned they did at some point.
Minneapolis Police Department's been called on several situations that they have not responded.
When asked about the end in sight,
this mission's ongoing until there are no more of those.
Dog, your fucking goons arrested black and brown off-duty cops. What are you saying? The police chief had to come out and be like, yeah, they're doing racial profiling.
Criminal illegal aliens roaming the streets of Minneapolis.
Frankie McLister, WCCO News.
We've reached out to MPD to see if they have a response to Bovino's criticism. Today, ICE said in a release that their officers and agents rank among the world's most skilled and experienced. There's no question the federal immigration crackdown has turned chaotic. So to keep the peace, the vice president claims cooperation is the key.
The reason why things have gotten so out of hand is because of failure of cooperation between the state and local authorities and what these guys are trying to do.
Caroline Cummings was at that briefing. She joins us now. Hi there, Caroline. You had a lot to say.
Yeah, so he spoke for about 30 minutes, took reporter questions during that time, and it followed a closed-door meeting with business leaders and ICE officers. Vance said it was to learn more about what's happening on the ground to, quote, tone down the temperature and reduce the chaos. Now, we have seen these operations turn chaotic, just like this one yesterday with Border Patrol deploying crowd control chemicals in South Minneapolis. Vance said if local authorities worked more closely with federal authorities, that the situation could de-escalate. He said many of the federal agents who are here aren't even doing immigration enforcement. They're just protecting other ICE officers, alleging that local cops are being told to stand down if those agents call 911.
We have people here who aren't even doing immigration enforcement, they're doing force protection. So that if a rioter tries to ruin the life or assault an ICE officer, they're actually protected. Now, why doesn't it make more sense for the local cops to get involved in that situation? Why not just...
Great question. Let's think. You got fucking cops going against ICE. I wonder how we got here. And for the record, they're exaggerating. I'll see for myself, but, you know, I don't think the cops are actually impeding or disrupting whatever the goals of ICE is and, like, defending the fucking protesters. Let's be real. They're most likely lying or greatly exaggerating.
Have the mayor or the local officials tell the police officers, you know what, if an ICE officer is being assaulted by a far-left agitator, you are invited, you should actually help them. That's what would work out in any normal situation, and that's what happens in nearly every jurisdiction, red or blue, in the United States of America.
Now, we reached out to the police departments in Minneapolis and St. Paul about those claims, but we have not heard back yet. The Department of Homeland Security has also repeatedly...
Okay, low key, that makes me feel like they are not cooperating with ICE. Okay, never mind. That's kind of awesome. Wait, if that's the case, that's pretty dope. Because normally they definitely would immediately be like, what are you talking about? Of course, we hold the rule of the law to the utmost importance. Of course, we're going to celebrate our... we're going to celebrate our law enforcement, no matter which level they're at. That's kind of dope. I hope that's the case. Oh my God. Well, we'll see.
Asked Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey to honor ICE detainers or those requests to local law enforcement that they are notified. ICE is notified if a person here illegally is released from custody. The Minnesota Department of Corrections says it does cooperate with ICE, calling claims that illegal immigrants with criminal records are being released back into the streets as fundamentally false, guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Caroline, thank you.
And the Governor Walz, just sent this response to the vice president's visit, saying in part, quote, I am glad the vice president agrees the temperature needs to be turned down, but actions speak louder than words. We don't need 3,000 ICE agents in our streets. Take the show of force off the street.
We have important new information this morning on the immigration crackdown in Minnesota. A memo obtained by CBS News shows that ICE agents have been told that they can force their way into suspects' homes without a judge's search warrant. Meanwhile,
veteran, by the way, was the vice president last election cycle, by the way, was the VP candidate. I have never seen a bigger fall off cycle than Tim Walz in my whole life. Like when he was first chosen, I was like, oh my God, are they doing it? Are they actually leaning into woke? Are they leaning into progress? And he came out hot with the whole, like, they're weird. Republicans are weird meta. And they backpocketed his ass, dude. They backpocketed the shit out of him. And then he became Tim, I will do a nuclear first strike on Iran Waltz. He got bitched out of office by a slop tuber. Not even a regular slop tuber, like somehow a dumber than average slop tuber. I cannot believe it. Tim Walz and Jacob Frey should be on camera every day. They should be doing press conferences in broad daylight, areas where ICE is actually trying to do operations at, every single day. Okay? I have yet to see him on camera other than the first day when Renega got shot and killed. The only motion that we've seen from Tim Walz is being like, Mr. President, this is not you. This is not you. This is not us. Why are you doing this? Over and over again. Bitch, it is him. It's him. And it is definitely us. Time to do something about it. The fuck do you mean?
There's a new dispute between ICE and local officials in Minnesota that has officials calling ICE flat wrong. Nicole Skenga is in St. Paul covering this for us. Nicole, good morning. What's going on here?
Good morning, Nate. ICE says it has taken hundreds of dangerous migrants off the streets here in this region. It also accuses state and local law enforcement officials of interfering with immigration enforcement, even letting some suspects go free. Now, CBS News has reviewed state records that suggest some of those alleged criminals were already in prison or
Oh, wow. Wow. No, that's it. That's literally it. They pad the numbers by going to the fucking prisons. That's why the corrections facility, the Minnesota Corrections Department for the state came out with a fucking release and said, hey, we're cooperating with ICE. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's it. Whenever these guys say, oh, we apprehended rapists and we took them off the streets, they're lying. They took them out of prison. In the United States of America, if you're an undocumented immigrant and you do a crime, like you do a heinous crime, you do a rape or something, or you kill someone in a fucking DUI, you get arrested by local law enforcement, not by fucking ICE. That's not the job of ICE. A lot of people don't realize this. They don't understand it. The job of the police is to go and arrest this person. And the job of the prosecutor is to charge this person. The job of the courts is to find this person guilty, okay? Or whatever, is to make sure that justice is served, okay? And then when justice is served, they go to prison. This is how it's always worked. This is just how it works. And these guys basically decided, oh, we can arrest whoever the fuck we want. And when people demand the numbers of the people that have actual crimes, have actual criminal records, we can give them a number by going to the fucking prisons. It is not ICE's job or ICE's jurisdiction. It is not ICE's job, or is it within its purview, or is ICE's jurisdiction to apprehend criminals. ICE's job is to deal with paperwork-related civil offenses. Okay? That's what ICE is supposed to do. That's what it was designed for. That's what it used to be. That's what it's supposed to be. Okay? They are supposed to go to people that have bad paperwork and say, your paperwork is bad. Go to the court to fix it.
Under state law enforcement supervision, and Minnesota's top corrections official, his name is Paul Schnell, we spoke with him yesterday, seemed genuinely astonished by the Trump administration's claim that the state is releasing criminals.
What is this? Crying R.I.P. Carla? R.I.P. to his abusive dog, Sag. Yeah, my dog Carla was being abusive, so I'm eating her.
Does it feel like the Department of Homeland Security is lying when it says that state authorities are not cooperating?
It is fundamentally false. We cooperate with ICE and ICE detainers. We have, as a matter of policy, done that for a long, long time.
As ICE raids have unfolded across the Twin Cities, the Trump administration has accused state leaders of protecting the worst of the worst.
The best solution is to turn them over to us in a safe, controlled setting like a jail or prison.
But Minnesota Corrections Commissioner Paul Schnell says that's already common practice.
Yeah! As they approach their release date several weeks before, our staff coordinates directly with the local ICE office. Staff do this on a routine basis. They make arrangements for the transfer of custody of that individual.
For months, the Department of Homeland Security has released lists of mugshots. Alleged criminals, it says, were seemingly tracked down and arrested by ICE. But Schnell told us that's not completely true.
These are people that they're in our system or have been in our system. But
they're literally going after people who are in prison to pad the stats. And even then, 70% of the apprehensions have no prior criminal convictions whatsoever. Isn't that fucking nuts? They'll be like, oh, we apprehended 3,000 people. Okay. And it's like, it's even higher than that. I'm saying like no record whatsoever for 70%. And it's like no convictions for, I think, like 90%. 10% actually has criminal charges or criminal convictions. That 10% comes from the prisons. So they go to the prisons and they bring, they demand that the Department of Corrections like release to ICE custody like a bunch of fucking rapists and shit like that are already in jail, just so they can turn around and go, see how fucking violent all these like rapist immigrants are. It's insane. It is like, it's transparent propaganda. It is so belligerent. I cannot believe that people fall for it too. Go on your docu on Sundance. What? Yes, I am in a documentary. Oh, congrats on your documentary on Sundance. Yes, I'm in a documentary that is being shown at Sundance tomorrow. I was invited to go to Sundance to go and watch it, but I am going to be in Minneapolis, in Murderapolis, at minus fucking 50 degrees instead. I have a brief part in it. It's not that big. You hate being cold, huh? Yeah, I do, but you know, we got to suck it up. Anything to skip going to Utah? Man, I mean, I think I'm spending my time in a place that's a little bit more important right now, you know? Yeah. That's also why I laugh when motherfuckers are like, one, you fell off, and two, oh, you're just a Twitch streamer. You're the same as Asmongold. Okay, buddy. The documentary is about Feroz Sidwa, who I've had on the stream. And a part of the documentary that features me is when he came on the stream, when he came back from Gaza. The doctor that came back from Gaza that I interviewed.
They were released.
These worst of the worst criminals weren't swept up by ICE on city streets.
No, they were released to ICE.
In one example, Schnell said his department turned these two state prisoners over to immigration officials on January 12th. The next day, both appeared in a DHS press release highlighting people who'd been arrested in ICE operations. That same release also claimed state leaders, quote, will not let us into their jails.
Coordinated that transfer of custody, and the next day they showed up on a DHS list of among
the worst
these people,
of the worst list.
Among the worst of the worst. And yet, exactly what should have happened, happened.
You say you need it to stop.
We need them to stop telling stories that are simply untrue. That we will and do coordinate.
Remember when I told you all this shit was going down? This is what I mean. New Trump audio dropped less than a minute ago. On what? We have a lot of ships on their way to Iran. We have an aircraft carrier heading there too. We'll see what happens. We have a big force on its way over there. I don't want anything to happen, but we'll have to see what happens. Okay, this is the same shit.
On the transfer of custody of people.
What do you want Tim Walz to do that one? Won't be talking to MAGA's break wall admin. Two, won't cause a potential violent escalation. Brother, violent escalation? You mean everyday existence for fucking Minnesotans right now? Get out there, buddy. Your constituents are being murdered. They're being gassed. They're being brutalized by a lawless tyrant. Get the fuck out there. Everywhere you go, bring the National Guard with you. You were a part of the National Guard. Bring them around with you. Fuck it. Wear a Zelensky-style, army fatigue and go out there and say, Mr. President, stop invading Minneapolis. I don't know, anything. Like, literally anything. Do something, man. It's crazy to me that you're the fucking governor. You're literally a veteran. You were in Congress. This kind of shit's happening. One of your constituents was slaughtered by a fucking rogue ICE agent. Not even a rogue ICE agent. An ICE agent following the orders of the rest of, following the orders of a tyrant president. And you got nothing going on, really? You're not on TV every day? You're not doing rallies every day? So disappointing.
Who are subject to ICE detainers and will continue to do that. Period.
We should add that Minnesota Corrections said they didn't even have criminal records for some of the alleged felons that ICE says they've arrested. Now, we did reach out to the Department of Homeland Security for clarity here. They did not address the discrepancy in the numbers, but in a statement urged all Minnesota elected leaders to cooperate with ICE. Nate?
Oh, so they're fucking lying as well. Oh, so that either they're getting like criminals that have already been apprehended and are in prison in Minnesota out of prison so they can make it seem like they're actually, you know, apprehending criminals when they're not, their job is not to do that. But then when there's not enough criminals to apprehend that you've released from prison, you just lie and you just make shit up. Great. Fucking clown show. All paid for with our tax dollars, by the way.
Well, here at home, Vice President J.D. Vance heading to Minneapolis to meet with local leaders as anti-ICE protesters continue in the Twin Cities.
Garrett Tenney joins us from the Twin Cities as it awaits the vice president's arrival. Garrett.
Hey, good morning, y'all. The White House says the vice president will be hosting a roundtable with local leaders, and the focus of that roundtable will be on restoring law and order in Minnesota. That's what the administration says it's been trying to do with more than 3,000 federal agents here who are facing stiff opposition and harassment from the community almost everywhere they go. The vice president's visit also comes as the Department of Justice is investigating that anti-ICE protest at a church in the Twin Cities Sunday. The administration has promised to hold those involved accountable. Here's Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Religious liberty is under siege in our country right now, and we are not going anywhere.
They're such babies, bro. They have to literally always find a way to make themselves seem like they're the victims, permanently a victim. This crybaby shit is so uncouth.
Until those people who did those acts are held accountable. Minnesota is important because it is sending a message to the entire country that Donald Trump is going to protect every city in this country. We're going to protect every house of worship.
You know what? This is Israel, by the way. Like 1-to-1. I mean, it's a 1-to-1 whenever there's like another fucking settler fair that they throw together at a synagogue and people go outside of that synagogue and understandably protest and they go, oh my God, this is anti-Semitism. Federal government's doing Israel shit. Okay? We are the real victims because you hate us because of what we've done to you. Amer Israel. Amer Israel.
One of the organizers of that protest, though, says she's not hiding and completely stands by the protest that shut down that worship service.
Personally, I will not be gaslit by the Trump administration. They are trying to turn a peaceful, nonviolent demonstration into a crime.
The vice president's visit also comes a day before activists are calling for a statewide shutdown to protest ICE with a rally outdoors when temperatures will be as low as the -40s. Back to y'all.
All right. Thanks, Garrett.
So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see, by the way, if protesters turn out to be outside of Vice President Vance's visit. But
that person wasn't saying that to me. Don't be a tattletale.
It's important for context to understand the reason why ICE is in Minneapolis is because
bro, y'all thought I was joking when I said -45 with the wind chill? No, I wasn't. I looked it up. We had to fucking buy gear, specific gear. I don't have clothes for -40 degrees. I'm busting out the Russian parka. I don't even know what it's gonna do if trees start exploding.
Is a sanctuary jurisdiction that prohibits local law enforcement and authorities from cooperating with ICE. And so the murderers, rapists, drug traffickers, the violent illegal alien criminals that have been protected, running free.
Every part of this conversation is a lie. Every part of this conversation is a lie. I hate it. Not only does the Department of Corrections actually cooperate with ICE, but ICE has no ICE has no law enforcement function, no legal function in detaining people that are doing regular crimes. That's not what ICE's job is. That's not what ICE does. They're not even fucking trained for that. Okay? Everything that they're saying is a lie. ICE's job in its jurisdiction is to serve paperwork. That's it. Their job is to track down people who are in violation of paperwork-related offenses. The idea that these people are, you know, following rapists and doing investigative work and like tracking down rapists and like catching them in, you know, right after they the crime or whatever. Like that's all bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit.
On the streets of cities like Minneapolis, ICE is going in to try and get them and deport them. That was President Trump's promise to the nation to close the border, which he's done. 8 straight months of zero releases and to remove these individuals.
I just love these idiot lawmakers, from the mayor to the governor, who say, I'm really proud of how peaceful and how much love is out there. Does this look like love to you? Is this love to you when you get in front of a law enforcement official and don't let them go to a convenience store, or you work in that convenience store and you don't serve them? Is that the love that Minneapolis is giving out? Does that look like a lovely thing to do, jumping on a law enforcement officer and then...
Yes, it does. Because it's solidarity. And solidarity is the closest expression to love that I've ever felt with my fellow man. Random people all around the world. So yeah, it is an expression of love. It's an expression for love of justice. It's an expression of the love that you feel for your fellow citizens, that you care for, that you want to defend them, that you want to fucking put your goddamn body on the line for them. I know this is a concept that is completely alien to a multi-millionaire Fox News contributor who makes his money by dividing the American public, by filling their heads with lies. But yeah, that is love. This is a nation of immigrants, man. What the fuck are we doing? This is a nation comprised entirely of immigrants. Some multiple generations removed, some recent, some in the process of getting their paperwork done, some that recently completed it. Protecting those people, regardless of their immigrant status, because they are your neighbors and you love them, is the most American thing you can do. That's it.
Blaming some other, you're under duress or that you have a disability. This is absolutely an embarrassment. If people in Minneapolis could see the way they're being, could see themselves and see this video and are proud, they're living in a different country.
I am proud of those people, and those people should feel proud. If there's anyone who should never feel a sense of pride, it's Brian fucking Kill Myself, Mr. I want to light homeless people on fire. I want to murder every homeless person I see. You're a disgusting little creature, Brian.
About a week ago, you interviewed Mayor Fry, and this is a portion of that interview. It was on January 14th. Listen to Griff talking to the mayor.
We have a separation ordinance in the city, and you know what that ordinance says? It says that I want our limited numbers of police officers focusing on keeping people safe, arresting perpetrators of violent crimes, stopping car thefts from taking place. That's what I want them focusing on. You know what I don't want them focusing on? Hunting down a dad that just dropped his kids off at daycare, is about to go work a 12-hour shift, who happens to be from Ecuador. That guy makes our city a better place.
There's two sides to this story. You mentioned an Ecuadorian migrant. Are you familiar with Victoria Eileen Harwell? An Ecuadorian illegal immigrant in August of 2024, driving drunk, crashed head-on into Victoria Harwell, killing her. You call it a separation ordinance. Why not just cooperate and make it safer for everyone involved? The community, the officers, and even the migrants.
My position here is pretty straightforward, and that's this. If you commit a crime, if you commit fraud, if you commit a carjacking or a murder, you should be investigated, charged, prosecuted, held accountable, and yes, arrested and put in jail. What I am saying is that a lot of the people that ICE is picking up right now in our city are not a problem for Minneapolis.
That was a great point, Griff, because why not just cooperate? If you don't want the dad who's here illegally but doing everything right, if you don't want him to get arrested, then why not work with ICE and say, give me the list of everyone that you want?
Brother, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, here's another side of the otherwise complex immigration process that exists in this country that most people are completely oblivious to. ICE knows where most undocumented immigrants are. This might come as a surprise to you, but ICE, I'm going to repeat it one more time. ICE knows exactly where most of the undocumented immigrants are on U.S. soil. And not because of surveillance, mind you. They know the precise location of every single undocumented immigrant, virtually every single undocumented immigrant on U.S. soil. And it's not because they have mass surveillance. They know because these people pay taxes. They know where they work. They know because these people go to courts. ICE has under Democratic leadership, a handshake agreement, and under Republican leadership too, even to this day. They have a handshake agreement with all of these undocumented migrants. We keep them undocumented on purpose. Okay? We keep them undocumented on purpose. We don't let them get the proper documentation and the proper clearance. We put them in this legal limbo. Okay? The reality of the matter is, ICE knows where most people are. They know where most people work. They know that these people don't have any criminal records. Because these people, for the most part, by and large, on U.S. soil, cooperate with the court system. Okay? This is a new one? No, this is not a new one. This is not new at all. I've talked about this a million different times. I've talked about this because ICE does apprehensions at courts. What the fuck do you think is happening? Those are asylum applicants that are following their goddamn paperwork properly to get gainful employment in the country. I've talked about it so much. Why would those guys go to their court dates? Usually just say asylum seeker. Yeah, that's what an undocumented immigrant is. Thought they didn't get benefits? Wait, what? No, they don't. They pay taxes. They don't receive benefits from said taxes. Yes, undocumented migrants pay into taxes. Their information is stored with the IRS. They do not get benefits from said taxes. Perhaps the reason why you're confused right now is because it doesn't make any sense to actually illegally apprehend these people and kick them out of the country, right? When you find all the facts, when you find out that it's just every single thing that the administration has been saying about undocumented migrants and migrants in general is just built around a lie, okay? Not what our governor said, my boy. Chatter, you don't have to lash out at me because you're oblivious to how things work, okay? I don't know why your first response in this moment is not to go, wait a minute, I didn't know the full details of the situation, but instead to double down and try to attack the fucking messenger. This is what a stupid person does. I want to believe that you're more intelligent than this, all right? I want to believe that you are not this dumb. I want to hope and dream that you are actually intelligent enough to go, you know what? I had not heard of this piece of information. I'm going to go research it on my own. I'm going to try to see if this is verified. I'm going to try to find out if this is true or not. And then if it is true, I'm going to change my mind. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay? When you encounter new information backed by evidence, what you're supposed to do is go, I wonder what steps led me to believe otherwise I should really reconsider this position. Okay? That's what you're supposed to do. Instead, you just lashed out at me angrily, try to catch me in an own or something. It's funny how they assume you like Newsom. Yeah, I don't even know if he knows which governor he's talking about. I don't know why he stopped talking. I feel like he's short-circuited. I wish you would have laid this truth to Bob yesterday and see what he said about that. Yeah, because you fucking, flick your bean or crank your hog to contest. That's all you care about. If all you care about is fucking blood sport and getting dunks, then yeah, that's your takeaway from that conversation. I think that conversation was very productive. Why are you always so mad at people who go against your views? I'm not. I'm mad at people that are wrong, but confidently wrong. Who on the planet would be not mad at someone who is objectively incorrect and also on top of that, confidently incorrect and acting as though they are the actual authority on the subject matter when I'm explaining something to them that they didn't know about beforehand? That's understandably a frustrating situation, don't you think? But you go against their character. Chatter, what is your job? Are you gainfully employed? Do you have a job? Let's test this out. Like, what do you do every day? I'm sure there's a hobby that you have that you know down to the fucking wire, right? You know every single thing about this hobby. If I just came up to you and I just started explaining something to you confidently that you knew more about than I did, you would probably also get fucking mad at me, right? Like, that's normal. It's a human thing. And for the record, I asked you what your job is. I didn't ask, like, you know, there's a purpose for that. Like, whatever your specialty is, right? Sorry, game developer. Great. Brilliant. Beautiful. Imagine if I just started fucking telling you that you were, like, confidently telling you that you were wrong about your actual fucking job. Okay? I was just yelling at you like, you're fucking stupid, dude. You don't understand. That's not how video games are developed, you fucking dumbass. Huh. That's not what the Blizzard developers said. You know, just like bring up random shit. Yeah, you would fucking get pissed off, right? As a matter of fact, I'm sure you do receive that on a daily fucking basis. Half the time from, you know, Asmongold's fans. I mean, that does happen, but going against someone's character is uncalled for. Oh, just tell him any Pyro software take? Yeah. If I catch you having a take on Pyro software that you fucking, that goes against his character, I'm gonna ruthlessly ban you, just so you know. Because once again, you're more mad at the form than the function. Why is it that so many people get mad at the form rather than the function? The function here is someone coming in without additional knowledge on an issue that I'm talking about and confidently being incorrect and derailing. Okay? Stop focusing on the form. Start focusing on the function. Okay? This is an unfortunate byproduct of liberalism, I think. A lot of people will go, hey, you can be a dog shit person. You're like J.D. Vance. Okay? J.D. Vance is a horrible monster. And yet, J.D. Vance, I want your Kong in my mouth. I love you, Asmon. You are sexy as fuck. At least we were able to come to a reasonable conclusion here about form versus function. And I'm glad that we were able to reach a point of agreement before I saw those logs. There's got to be a mix-up. I'm sure you were memeing. I hope.
Damn, this guy's good.